Oh, we're up to 33.
33?
Yeah.
All right.
Welcome, summoners, to episode number 33 of the Broken by Concept podcast. I am your co-host, Nathan Mott. First name Nathan, last name Mott. This is my co-host, Coach Curtis. First name Coach, last name Curtis. Welcome to another episode of the best League of Legends podcast ever to exist. What should we start with today, Curtis? Actually, I already know what we're starting with today. So, we did a community post. I wanted to keep... At the end of the day, this podcast is all about our listeners.
That's right.
Right? We want to help people. We want to share our expertise in the field of League of Legends. So I was like, all right, here's a little good opportunity. Well, I had a little picture of us. This is on our YouTube community section, by the way.
Wait, we were next to each other in the promos?
Yeah, we're literally dead set on promos right here for Master Tier. So I was like... What a cool little thing. Like I titled it, captioned it, Never Tear Us Apart, because it's like a song.
Yep.
And then I asked everyone to tell us how their first week of the season has gone. So we're about 1 week into the season.
Yep.
Actually, no, we're over a week.
Okay.
So like 8-9 days. So let's just talk about, I want to highlight some people here. The upvoted comment was someone called Aura Master 13. I love the YouTube names.
You get some really interesting YouTube names. I've seen it all. Honestly.
Why some people don't have just their real life name? Aura Master 13.
You get some really interesting ones.
Some people do. Some people do. So Aura Master actually had a bit of a question here. So he goes, going pretty well. I got to gold 4 in preseason and I'm silver 3 after placements. I have the goals of what I want to improve set out. And he asked, what do you think? He has 3 goals. His first one is not dying from in lane results first 10 minutes. Keep this until February. So all these 3 goals are until February 13th.
Oh, right. So he's actually given a date. So the first one is that he doesn't want to
die in lane before for 10 minutes, I assume that says.
Okay, before we go on to this, I try not to start... I try not to set learning objectives with, like, not something or don't do this.
Good advice.
Because these are just, like, away from statements. You generally want to keep... any learning objective a towards statement. For example, another way you could frame.
So how would you frame that? So not dying before 10 minutes.
Rather than not dying would be surviving all ganks in the first 10 minutes, or being aware of the jungler's location for the first 10 minutes, or it could even be something more actionable, having intention with every wave, understanding, knowing exactly how much gold I want to base on for the first 10 minutes. I don't know, something like that. Something more specific and more actionable. Because sometimes with not dying, I heard this from some players when we used to set learning objectives like this. The first thing that you think about, if you think about this statement, if I were to tell you, don't run, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Just don't run, just sit there and just stand there, just do nothing.
Well, generally, if you say don't run, the word that comes to mind is run.
Run. Okay,
like you're thinking run,
yeah.
Right? You're thinking run. Like, why would I not run? You're just thinking about running.
Yeah.
If I say don't die, the first thing you're going to think about is just dying.
Dying.
You know? So, yeah, it can be a little bit sketchy. So keep that in mind.
Wait, maybe that run analogy is bad, Curtis. Because wait, so...
I mean, I know it works for me whenever I think about it. Someone's like, Curtis, don't run. I'm thinking like the first thing...
Well, you're thinking of run, but you're not going to run though.
Yeah, I agree, but it's just a little mental thing. I mean, just nitpicking here. But anyway, I just think it's not actionable enough.
Yeah, definitely needs to be
too many things in there, because you can die from ganks, you can die from taking poor trades, you can die from support roams, you can die from poor wave management. Why get more specific? Why are you dying? And then focus on that specific part.
His second objective was 70 CS at 10 minutes.
Okay.
You think that's a reasonable
one? That's a good one. But be careful as well. Sometimes it's out of your control. But yeah, like... again, what I like to do there is get a little bit more specific. Sometimes it could even be never miss an non-contested minion, or always hit the uncontested minions, or it could even be as simple as know when to give or not give a minion, or something like that. Because sometimes it's out of your control, and if you're focusing, I need to get 70. It can take away from you might just actually play suboptimally. You might go for the CS when you shouldn't be going for the CS. I like to get more specific again.
Yeah, so if I was to use that for an analogy for jungle, it would be, so let's say for Eve, I had key performance indicators like KPIs. Like you want like around 80 CS by like 12 minutes, but it's not about the 80 CS. I mean, that obviously you want that number, but there's more goes into that. It's like, okay, did I miss some opportunities for some potential free kills that would have got me the goal that netted me the CS anyway? I mean, you ideally want that CS anyway as a goal, but again, it's more the fact of...
It's like, what's going to get you that CS? For Eve, it might be like say if someone's not getting 70 or 80 CS on Eve, right?
Yeah.
You could break that down. They're either not clearing their camps properly, they're taking inefficient ganks, their pathing's inefficient.
Get the 80 CS while also helping and minimizing your lanes, control ward in and ward in.
Right.
So it's not just getting the 80 CS, it's like,
right.
Like how can I minimize as well?
The package.
You know?
But you can break that down.
And then his third objective here was wave control first 10 minutes. Is that really broad?
Yeah. Wave control, again, that's too broad. What I would say is, it could even be have intention with waves for the first 10 minutes. So sometimes you'll find yourself, I see it quite often in my coaching clients, is that they're just playing and they're just randomly shoving the wave. For example, I did a coaching session with Raz this morning, and he was playing a Carly, and there was a time where he was versing a Malzahar, and he kind of just went on, I don't know if it was autopilot mode or whatever he was doing, but he just matched the wave clear with the Malz by queuing the wave. Like if the Malzahar used the abilities on the wave, he just queued the minions as well. So it just turns into a stalemate. Or he was randomly laning.
Was that his intention though, or not? Or he's just
playing. I don't know. He wasn't thinking what he could have done, or recognizing that the enemy used abilities on the wave. Or another example, he was versing an Annie, and then he wasn't thinking about the wave state that he wanted. So he just Annie shoved in, he queued the wave. Rather than, okay, why do I need to queue the wave here? I don't just hold it here for a little bit. I'm probably going to get 6 soon. I can maybe actually all in here. Annie has no flash. So maybe it's more about having intention with your waves and actually having a hypothesis with the way you want to play your waves. Or it could even be more specific, experiment more with holding the wave on your side. I don't know. So yeah, again, try and get a little bit more specific.
So then what he's doing here is he can only move on to the next learning objective when the chosen goals that we just mentioned occurs in 75% of games over 50 games.
Okay.
And then he says can only move on from an objective after 1 month minimum.
Because I just think not dying in the lane in the first 10 minutes is so...
That's going to be very
that's hard. I mean,
75% of 50 games.
Because the danger of that is I just feel like he's just going to play defensively just so he doesn't die.
Okay.
Everything here that he's got is, think about it. It's I need to get this CS and I need to not die doing it and I need to control my waves, whatever that means, for the first 10 minutes, right? That's just not realistic. There's some games where it's just I would want you to die to push your limits to figure out how much damage you can do. Hold on.
But his silver, Curtis, do you recommend it to silver players? He got gold 4 last season.
Yeah, I still would recommend. I always recommend them to just... You got to go in to see how much damage you can do.
Okay.
So what happens, Nathan, what I've seen as well, people, if you're going to play a champion and you don't know how much damage you do, it has long-term implications.
You're right.
I would rather you mess up. Maybe, yeah, but it won't be forever. I'm saying it only take 10, 20, 15 games, whatever it is, to figure out how much damage your champion does in a matchup. If you don't know, and I actually created a term for this, Nathan. I call them calibration trades.
Calibration traits.
Trades. So if you're in a matchup where you don't understand, say you've never played a matchup or you don't know what to do, or you're versing a unique mid pick, right? What I say, and this is what I found myself doing subconsciously, I didn't even realize, is I'll take a calibration trade. So first thing I'll do, I'll get into the game, I'll relax a little bit, just wait to see what they do. Sometimes they will just do something proactive and I'll react. And I'll kind of get a feel for what they're doing. But then the next level, say if it's just stale, say, for example, there was a Dakali versus Malzahar matchup and it's just going stale. What I'll do is I'll just do something crazy to test. What happens if I do this? To see what their response is, to see how much damage I can do, to see what my champion is capable of in this matchup. And then what happens, this might fail. It might look bad. I might end up losing a lot of my HP. I might even die in the extreme cases. But then at least I know. And then I can actually look at that, or I can think about that while coming out of base or refreshing my HP, and I can calibrate.
That's a good word, calibrate. Calibration trades.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I would experiment with that. Calibration trades.
Okay. But overall, I think we like the way he's thinking.
I like the way he's thinking for sure. I really like that he's holding himself accountable. He's setting, learning objectives. He's focusing on them for an extended period of time, and he has some form of KPI. So yeah, I like that. A lot of positives.
So the next one here was from Augustin. He says, it's going really well. I got my support account into Diamond 2 already. I now can get Challenger as support, but I don't take it for granted. I'm sticking to my schedule and improving reliably and consistently.
Brilliant.
He's from the LAS server. So I love that schedule. And,
Schedule.
and see the words? Improving reliably and consistently.
That's the way.
10, 15 game block, loss streaks, win streaks.
No.
You finish those streaks and you don't even know what just happened.
I love it.
Tom Lag says, going smoothly so far. I'm in the middle of Gold 2 and almost getting to my preseason rank of Gold 1. I have a 70% win rate so far and 90% win rate on my main champion, Xerath. I'm currently focusing on farming, champion mastery, and jungle tracking in that order.
I like it.
So
as long as he's getting
farming
specific with the farming, and if you do miss a CS, what's going wrong with it? If you can't farm, what's going wrong? Because generally you'll find that some games your farming's off because your wave management's off or your tempo assessment's off. You're taking poor quality resets. You've got to be, again, get specific there. Champion mastery, again, I love a focus on champion mastery. Again, I try to get a bit more specific. Maybe it's, a specific part of the game. Maybe it's skirmishes. Maybe it's trading patterns. Maybe it's your mid to late game team fighting, whatever it is. But yeah, always optimizing that. And the other one was jungle tracking. Yeah, I like it. I think that it might be a bit hard to do all of them at the same time, but because jungle tracking does require a lot of energy. But but yeah, it seems solid to me, dude.
his goals to get diamond. Tom's goals to get diamond this season. So we've got a long road ahead.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, looks like his win rate so far, but don't get too much into the win rate. Remember, we want to see hundreds of games with a 51% win rate this season.
Right.
Okay. Don't start a new account, Tom. Yeah, once you start dropping a 55% win rate, because it's going to happen. Once you hit your skill level, you're going to start,
You're going to plateau.
You're going to plateau. Ahura, I'm not sure how I pronounce his name. He thinks it's going great. Found insane success after binging Coach Curtis's content. It's actually more addicting than The Mandalorian.
Whoa, that's a cool show as well.
I swear. So that's what he says. I started playing League around June of last year and didn't play ranked until September. And even still, I played 2 games per week max. Started at Bronze 3 around November when I started to grind more ranked and ended the season in Silver 4. Climbed to Silver 2 in preseason, but dropped back to Bronze 3 after placements. But I realized how much I improved since I first started at Bronze 3 and I climbed back to Silver 4 in one day. I'm mainly looking to improve my CS to be at least 7.5 to 8 for Orianna TF and ADCs and above 6.5 for LeBlanc. So it looks like he was a mid and ADC player. Any comments on that, Curtis?
I don't like playing LeBlanc in your elo range.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be playing LeBlanc at all.
It's a very difficult champ, right?
I just say no.
Just no.
Just no. Don't even try.
Don't even try
Nah.
it. Known
You
for a
shouldn't-
reason.
No, you shouldn't even play LeBlanc till Diamond 4 at least.
Okay, well, that's some advice for you, Ahura.
But also, as well, I don't think you should be getting that high CS in Silver and low Gold.
Because it's just chaos.
I actually think
team
it's bad.
Yeah.
Because that says to me that you are probably not grouping as much. You're probably not playing with your team. And you're not adapting to the elo that you're within. So I think 7.5 is great. Anything higher than 7.5, probably something's going wrong there. Or you're not playing optimally for your elo bracket. Because of how chaotic the games are. And there's going to be the 15-minute ARAM every single time. So yeah, just keep an eye on that. I think it's good to have high CS, relatively high CS, but don't push it too much. Have a focus on being at the fights that actually do happen.
You had that example of that, was it 10 CS Jace player?
There was literally in my Discord, he has games where he's going 10 CS per minute.
And what elo is he?
He was goal 4.
Yeah.
When I heard that, I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
I dthink it was possible. I can't even get 10. I could barely get 10 CS per minute on Jace in gold.
And this gold player.
This guy's better than me, dude.
Yeah.
It's insane. On Jace, not even a really good farming champion. He's decent farming, but it's not like an Aurelia or a Yone or something like that. Because getting jungle camps is not that easy. But yeah, I just think that's problematic. I said that was a problem. If you're getting 10 CS per minute in gold, then you're seriously not being at fights enough.
Something to consider. Kevin here says, going good, trying to climb back to mid-plat after being away from LoL for 4 years. Spent preseason catching up on new items in the meta. Love that, Kevin. That's awesome. Started ranked in Silver 3 and now Silver 1. Run into a fair amount of trolls griefers, unfortunately, but I'm just focusing on my own gameplay and learning from my mistakes. Excellent. Don't worry about things you can't control. You can't control the teammates on your team. Just focus on your own improvement. You will climb eventually. Ville says, working just on 1 or 2 fundamentals at a time. Currently working on farming and warding. My game is definitely improving. In Plat 1 now from Diamond 3. So he's in from his placements, Plat 1. If you're in Plat 1, yeah, it's pretty good right now.
Yeah,
from
definitely.
Diamond. How cool is this goes? Everyone's focusing on learning objectives and fundamentals. This is what we do the podcast for, you know? Chase here says he started a rank schedule, but it's been rough. Platinum 3 haven't been moving much, finding it difficult to stay motivated with LP drops. And then there's actually a conversation here saying, so your LP motivates you, question mark. There are people who play for rank and the people who play to improve. You should choose the latter since rank comes with it. And you wouldn't care if you lose LP. That's true. We believe in that as well, don't we, Curtis?
Yeah, but it's like, it's one of those interesting debates where you got to think about, you got to have like motivation.
Yeah, so the LP is important, but not at the same time.
It's good for goal setting, but it's not good to think about during the process.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, getting challenge of you motivates you, Nathan.
Yeah.
But it's not something you actively think about.
No.
Is it? Like when you're playing, it's not like, oh, damn it, I lost LP now, in a way. Well, for me anyway, I literally don't care if I lose LP.
Yeah.
For me, I've got to the point where I don't care how much I gain and I don't care how much I lose.
Well, it's like my mind, I know what a challenger player should be at the level they should be playing at, the mistakes that they should be making, the plays they should be making. And if I play a game, I just know I'm not there yet. So
and it's okay.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I got to work on these specific details.
But it feels good though that you.
Yeah, and LP, like the best times I've climbed in League of Legends, like in Season 3 days, LP was just like randomly coming and disappearing, and I randomly was like, I literally can't remember. Like when I got my 3 accounts to top 10, I can't remember like rank. Probably when I was like Diamond 3 to like 500, I literally couldn't remember. I was just playing and just the post-game lobby, it wouldn't even load up. I just hit play again.
Yeah, that's like with me, even towards the end of last season, like when I was winning every game, I like going from like 500 to 850, that was like a blur. It just like happened. Yeah. Like it just happened.
You're just playing.
I was just playing really well.
You're super present in those games.
Yeah, I just didn't really care. So, I mean, the motivation bit... What do you think about motivation and ranked? I mean, it's so...
Like, be motivated
he's
to keep playing because of the LP drops. That's what Chase says.
I mean, I could see that.
He says, maybe I phrased it wrong. He says frustrating might be the better. Also, no need to be aggressive. Oh, okay, that's the response to the thing. I don't think he was saying it aggressively. But
so he says he's
so frustrated.
With that's understandable. He can be frustrated.
Yeah, frustrated. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, you're not going to be happy losing LP, you know, like that just shows you're a competitive person.
Just embrace it, dude.
Yeah, that's part of the journey, man.
It's part of the journey, man. You're not gonna you're not gonna go from 0 to 100. It's been like a week and a half into the season. Literally, just relax, man. You got like 10 months. You
got like 200 days, dude.
Yeah,
you know,
you got a long time. Relax.
Thor says he's back at home in lockdown and haven't played the game of League in months. Let's get to it. Thor Adams. Ended last season with 470 LP on EU West. I had a 20% win rate in the first 2 days, but I didn't feel bad about it considering I was facing Master to Challenger opposition. In fact, I felt great about my play and knew that I just had to stay consistent and not let results get to my head, and I would climb eventually, which I did. Great mindset. What could I have done better? He even says, like, what could he have done better? Consolidate my champion pool before season started. I was really comfortable on Jin and Ezreal, but I didn't start playing Kai'Sa until the new season rolled around. Kai'Sa's really strong right now, isn't she?
Kai'Sa's really strong.
Yeah, I see her in every game. What's he working on right now? He's working on his invisible narratives. How interesting is this? A 470 LP player on EUS has still got invisible narratives.
No, but that's actually how it works. The higher you get, the more invisible narratives you have.
Sorry, yeah.
That's the way it works.
That's true.
Because you play so many games to get to that point.
I noticed that I developed a defeatist mindset when facing challenger ADC players that I repeatedly lost to in the past. And I'm thinking to myself that I can never be as good as them. I got challenger in season 4 and it weighs me down. Curtis is 100% right that League is a confidence game, especially in high elo.
Yeah.
So this season, I'm taking more time to deal with my emotions and challenge the perception I have of myself.
Well, I feel like this segues into my League experience, dude. This season, I had the exact same thing.
Yeah, you told me about that,
the first one is the consolidating champion pool. So I thought heading into season 11, I would have Echo. I would have my pool. It would be probably like Victor or Oriana.
Yeah.
With Yone as my AD and then Echo. And that was like going to be my small little champ pool of 3. First of all, I realized I am not ready to play Yone at all. I'm just not ready. I don't have enough games played on it. I don't have enough time. Because what's happened, I've been focusing on my website. I haven't had enough and making content with Victor and stuff like that. I literally haven't had enough time to play Yone. So I just put him to the side for now, right?
You need
Maybe
a lot of
in the
games on
future, but I'm not ready to play him. But Echo, and this is what I want to talk about, is that so I made an Echo guide and I had a lot of success with Echo in the preseason. Like I was dominating pretty much every game, was my most comfortable champion, had a really good win rate and stuff like that. And it got into the preseason, I mean the actual season, and the champion just felt really, really underwhelming, no matter what happened in the game. Like, even if I got ahead and played the early lane like flawlessly, even if like I had perfect CS and I got to my 2 items perfectly, I wasn't impactful. I really wasn't impactful. And it felt like my champion didn't have an identity since the Rocket Belt changes. And it feels like, why play Echo? That's what it felt like when I'm playing. I'm like, why would I play this champion? I don't have an identity. I'm not.
So you think the champion right now, like, so is this
a high elo thing? I think.
So this is just a high elo thing.
Because 610, right?
Yeah.
He had a really good winner on Echo and had a lot of success last season with it.
Yeah.
He said he gave up on the champ as well.
Okay.
And is not playing it anymore.
Yeah.
He says he doesn't have an identity either. I don't know what's happened, whether it's the meta shift, whether it's the changes to Rocket Belt, or a combination of a lot of things. The champion just feels underwhelming. Okay, first of all, before I could confidently pick it into any control mage and I could feel like I could either push the pace of the game, play really aggressively, or if I'm versing something like a Yone, I had enough burst to make his life miserable. But I can't. I don't have. There's no favorable matchups anymore. There's actually genuinely, there's no situation where I'm like, this is a good Echo game. I lose every match. I lose hard to Victor in the past, and that was a good matchup for Echo in the past. Like Oriana and things like that, with tier being really cheap and them having a lot of mana. Echo can't operate. There's not enough burst. There's not enough threat. I'm like, why would I play this champion when Fizz exists? You know? Now, I think Echo is completely fine in lower elo. Like, honestly, all the way up until, probably high diamond. But I think at high diamond, when everyone's playing their champions to a very high level, I think playing this champion is just no point. And then I actually genuinely stopped having fun with the champion, because if his identity, the way I interpreted it, wasn't optimal anymore, and you had to play him some weird bruiser way, I don't want to do that, because I think that maybe the way you play him now is some weird bruiser way. I don't know, but maybe I'm just over exaggerating, and maybe he's completely fine on all these other elo brackets.
So this wasn't a lost streak thing. This is just,
and this is what I want to talk about.
Yeah,
because I sound like
have you lost confidence on the champion, or like? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I definitely would have lost confidence on the champion. But
I mean, you're very specific there. You said that right now you feel like it can't win matchups it should have won, but in the past.
Yeah,
anymore.
I mean, specific. Like before, I would be confident in matchups to play them out and be in a weird. Like, because the thing is, even when I played it well, really, really well, that would have easily led to a victory before. It's not leading to a win anymore. Like the even when I'm in the greatest positions, when it should be a free win, it's just not. And yes, I'm obviously not the best Echo player, but it feels like if I'm going to put this much time into pursuing like the challenger level champion mastery, I'm happy to do that if I think the reward or the payoff is very high.
Because you're going to have to invest a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears.
I'm happy to do that with a champion that I think will be around for a long time. But I'm thinking the way Echo is right now, I just don't think that's it. So what I'm doing is I'm changing him for Fizz and just all in on Fizz. Because I think Fizz has a clear identity. That's all I want in a champion. When I look for champions, I look for champions that have a very clear identity. You know what their role is in a comp.
Yeah.
With Echo, I didn't know what my role was. Am I a burst-oriented assassin? Am I some like split-pushing, killing towers? Which
those are two complete different plays.
Or am I a team-fighting skirmisher? What am I?
Yeah.
Am I a scaling assassin? Am I early chaotic? What am I?
So you have no idea.
I mean, I don't know how to win with it. I tried both styles. It doesn't work. So yeah, I put it to the side for now. I mean, who knows in the future? But right now, I need to get. I'm trying to figure out my champ pool, and that's what I'm doing. And I don't care. I mean, and this is the thing. This is what I want to. Actually, I want to push this narrative. I'm so happy I have a negative win rate, right? I've only played like 40 games or something like that, 45 games, and I'm at like a 46% win rate or something. I think I'm like 22 and 26 or something like that. And I want to have a negative win rate. I think it's actually good to have a negative win rate right now because I want to show people. I want to show people you can learn champions on your main account. You can have a negative win rate. Your MMR can be absolutely cooked. I want my MMR to be terrible.
Yeah.
I want to be gaining 10 LP a game
and losing 20.
Yeah, I want to be doing that. I want to have the worst MMR, and then I want to just do it.
Yeah.
And just show people.
Yeah.
And then and look where I end up. I'm gonna try and get like top 10, rank 1, all that sort of thing, and just show people
Across the entire season.
Yeah, I want my account to be ugly as.
Yeah,
that's what I want it to be. I want it to have like these.
Well, these champs like this is actually a champ with like 30% win rate.
Yeah, and there's going to be a 30% win rate here, 30% win rate there, but this one's going to have a 60%. It's going to be like shocking.
Yeah,
and I love that.
Yeah, I think I love that as well.
It's sending a message, dude. Because so many people would either make a new account, they'd play on another account, they would learn champions on another account.
Stuff like
they'll say, man, I've got to make a new account, my MMR screwed. No, dude, just grind it out.
Don't like that on the BBC podcast.
So, you know what? And I understand that I sound incredibly hypocritical right now in the sense that our mantra is champion mastery, right?
Yeah, now you're ditching Echo.
But at some point, I just feel like once you get to the level we're playing at, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot. Like I can play a lot of champions, and I don't want to shoot myself in the foot by committing time to a champion that I just don't think I will get good results. Like I'm not just randomly trying to get challenger. I'm trying to get rank 1, or I want to get rank 1 this season.
Yeah.
And I got to do it with champions that I love and I thoroughly enjoy. I actually got to the point where I just didn't enjoy Echo. I love Fizz. I love Victor. Part of the reason I'm having so much success on Victor is actually I love the champion, dude.
It's funny how League works that way.
It's not even good. It's not even that good in SoloQ, but I have a lot of success with it because I love it.
Yeah.
I have fun.
Yeah.
And I'll do whatever I can to make it work.
Yeah. You're getting creative.
Getting super creative. I love it.
So, Curtis, that came off Paralift's question here. Well, these comments saying he switched to Kai'Sa. He's had to sort of relearn Kai'Sa.
Yeah.
We're saying fine.
Because at that level of play, I think you have to do that. Yeah. At some point, if you really want to be a high-level player, you kind of got to be somewhat a meta slave, in a way.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. Like, okay, you can play a champion that is like... Okay, for example, like Victor. Victor is not amazing, but it's not terrible. And I'm fine. I'm sticking with it. I don't know to play the best champions on the patch at this level of play, Master Plus, right? But I'm not going to play a champion that's genuinely weak. I think Echo's genuinely weak in higher elo games right now. But I think Echo's a great assassin for people learning the game and like even getting up to like Diamond 4 and stuff like that. For sure.
All right. So Moran here says playing in blocks of 3 plus review has been really helpful for him. It's great to hear.
Dude. Yeah.
That's what we talked about in our what was it? The our ranked extravaganza guide podcast, which was episode number 31.
How's your rank been going, dude?
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second, Curtis.
Did you play in blocks at the moment?
Yeah, I play in blocks of 3.
How's that been working for you? Has it been like this guy?
We'll get into it. I mean, a little preview. I think that this is the most I've improved in the shortest period of time.
Just sheer improvement.
Yeah. I feel really... Like, I understand what's going on in my games, and I'm writing everything down. I love that as well.
Right.
We'll talk about that in a moment. I just want to cover a couple more people's here. Illicit here says, I convinced myself not to play more than 3 ranked games. 3 ranked games a day, and tried to review all of them. The first part, about playing 3 ranked games a day, is easy. Second one, about reviewing all of them, feels useless and depressing. I feel like it's not really your job to review your own game in the way that it is so harder to spot your own mistakes rather than checking mistakes from other people. Have you ever noticed that in grammar, for instance? I don't know what that means. I think
maybe he's saying when you're trying to check your own spelling.
Grammar,
mistakes.
Sorry, grammatical mistakes. Yeah, it's hard to see your own mistakes in it because you like wrote it. That's actually a good point. So basically saying...
I've actually never experienced that.
Really?
For me personally.
You can catch you've never, not once, but like, I missed that, even though you kept on reading it over and over again.
No.
Really?
No, dude.
Jesus, you're not human. I'm pretty sure it's really common.
Is it?
Yeah. Or even in a coaching session when a YouTuber or a streamer asks his client at a specific moment, what is your mistake? Pauses the replay and the player has absolutely no idea. Happens to me all the time when I'm reviewing my replays, and it's really depressing because so many people made an emphasis on review your games. It's a really good point. What do you think?
I think that last point's invalid though.
Which one?
Because I think when they ask that question, the client generally, it's like you don't know what you don't know. They don't understand the concepts that are at play. So no shit they don't know. It's not about their inability to review. It's about their inability to spot the mistake in that moment. Just because you're not going to be able to spot every single mistake in a review doesn't mean it's invaluable.
Yeah, so you'll definitely be able to review a lot differently than how we would review.
You're not going to spot every mistake, and that's fine. Yeah. That's the point is like, yes, you're not going to be, you need to be having played the game you need to play the game for an incredibly long time. And like, I feel like I haven't really been able to coach effectively, and I've been playing the game for like 10 years, right? And coaching pro level, like it's only been until recently I feel quite confident in my coaching. So yes, with your own reviews, you're not going to be able to spot everything. That's what coaching is for, but it's very valuable for looking at the absolute basics. Like even if it's simple as you die and you look at the death.
I mean, I feel like players have enough knowledge these days to come up with something helpful from a review.
Definitely, dude. There's so much content on manual content, just ours alone.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other YouTube channels out there. Our ones alone that you're going to be able to look at the underlying concepts. You're not going to point them all out, but even if you get one thing away from it, let's just say you die, right, to a jungle gank. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to say, is it because, did you ward? Yes or no? Did you have any idea of the jungle's pathing? Yes or no? Were you leaning to one side of the lane? Yes or no? Did you have any intention with your wave management? Yes or no? Like I mean, you don't really have to be a rocket scientist to know which one of these you were and weren't doing. Now, I'm not to say that's where you should be directing your attention, but you may start to see trends. So don't put the pressure on yourself to know exactly what's going wrong. Taking something away rather than nothing is a net win.
And I'm sure you can take something away. It could be a cop-out you're saying here, talking about, I just feel like I can't review games properly because I don't have the knowledge, so I won't review. That's like a narrative you could have.
Okay. What if you think of it like this? What happens if if you were to list all the reasons why you shouldn't review and list all the reasons why you should review, like I'm pretty sure the reasons why you should review will outweigh it. I mean, the reasons you shouldn't, okay, let's just say what the negatives could be to play. Let's agree with him, right?
Okay, so negatives to review.
You could look at like the wrong things and overcomplicate your games, potentially.
Wasting time, you just want to get into the next game.
That's a good thing, though. I actually want people to waste time in their review sometimes.
Yeah.
Because they actually gives them a time to refresh a little bit.
Okay, so that's actually a positive.
Okay, anyway.
But people could view it as a negative because they want to get into the next game.
Yeah, they could easily view that as a negative, yeah.
Well, they shouldn't. So they're overcomplicating, potentially.
Overcomplicating. They could literally say the wrong thing in a way. Like, make them worse in a way by saying this was the right play. I don't know.
Well, then you got to be honest with yourself, dude. Yeah. You know, like that's not the review problem.
Or you could spend your time looking at what other people did wrong.
Yeah.
Because if you went into the review with a mindset, I'm going to go in here and look at how my jungler screwed my lane.
Yeah.
Like, you could actually do that. People would do that. They would like go into the review and look at their jungler giving double buffs to their laner and say, this is it. This is the game. I mean, you could view it like that. But let's look at the positives. What would the positives be? Let's just say this guy has limited knowledge. He hasn't watched much of our content, right? For some reason. Let's say he hasn't watched yours or my content. The positives would be, you could actually clarify. Okay. This is an interesting thing, by the way. We haven't spoke about this. Is that sometimes when you're in a game, you don't actually realize, like, it's very emotional and you miss things. You're not going to know every single thing in the game. Like, you're not going to be able to think about every variable. You're not going to soak in every bit of information. And so when you die in a skirmish, or you die to a game, or you take a poor trade, once you actually get into it, you'll actually be able to say, I didn't even think, I didn't know his E had that low of a cooldown. And you actually look at it, it's actually a really low cooldown, holy crap. Or, I didn't know his mana, this ability didn't cost much mana. I thought he couldn't cast that. Or it could even be like, wow, I didn't know the jungler could do that path. Or, what the hell, they actually ping this? I didn't even see that ping. Like, you just see things.
You do see things, yeah.
You just see things. And it can make some things click. over time. Because you're not going to have a super logical view of the game when you're in it. You're in the shit. You can't think about stuff. You got to move on. Go. Next play.
You will pick something. And that's why there just must be something.
There has to be something.
You know, it's positive. I mean, that's why I struggle to literally come up with negatives to review. Yeah. You know, I just can't even think of any. Alex here says, I completed all my provisionals on all 3 accounts. Oh, what do you think about that one, Curtis, already?
Complete waste of time.
My main got gold 4 with 8-2, plat season 10. After that, I went to play jungle only from a bronze account. This was because I think I'm not good enough at punishing enemy mistakes, slow in / pushing the tempo when I need to scale, when I'm at a power spike and tracking the enemy jungler. I think those games are helping me. I still feel like I have what to improve, but do you think those steps are a good approach for season 11? The approach is basically 1, play no mechanical champions. 2, play role which allows you to focus primarily on your bad skills. Jungle tracking, controlling the tempo of the game, and assessing when you're ready to push the game. Climb to a point close to your elo. I will push the bronze account to gold plat. Try to apply the new skills to your main, in my case mid lane. When you are ready, transfer to your second smurf, or if you're confident, you can go to the main account and climb even faster. Oh, I think this is everything we don't say to do.
This is everything wrong.
This is almost.
If you want to know what not to do, you follow this guy.
Yeah, this is Alex's comment. Alex Teztavnov.
Holy moly!
Oh, I mean, so I think this is a narrative right now.
Yeah.
To track jungle, he has to play jungle on a bronze account to learn how to jungle, and that's going to help him accelerate climber super high on his main account when he goes back to mid lane.
Because he cares about his win rate.
I believe
that has to be the underlying thing. He thinks that by like randomly focusing on like a new learning object, like he wants to.
I hate that this sentence here. When you are ready. I hate that.
There's no ready.
When you're never ready. You get into that game. You got a 51%. Let's go. Like a 49% rate, 30% win rate.
Okay. So I think what he's trying to do. You know how I spoke about why people like how learning actually works. So like you get to a level, right, and then you plateau. And in order to get to the next level, you actually get worse because you actually have to set new learning objectives. So you actually play worse, and then you get better. What he's trying to do, I think, is like skip that bit where you go down and then go up and like try and get to the next plateau. But the problem is with doing this is that you actually don't learn because you're versing the games are unrealistic and they're not what will happen in the games that you're playing in. You think you're actually learning skills, but because you're not actually getting tested in other areas, you have more mental capacity than you otherwise would. So even if you go into your main account, as soon as you're playing in gold rather than bronze, you know, you're playing gold 2 now, gold 1, whatever it is, and you're trying to get to plat. Basically nothing of what you learnt in silver is going to be applicable.
And you've wasted all that time not playing in your current elo, learning things and getting tested.
And then the other thing, you've actually can probably get poor habits. You actually get worse.
Yeah.
This actually makes you worse. Because you actually get in poor habits. You get away with things that you think you're doing right, but you're just not getting punished at all. It's actually very dangerous.
Yeah, I think he asks, do you think this way will work or will it worsen my gold plat level of play?
Yeah.
Yes, you're going to become a worse player.
You'll get worse. So don't go on your main, only play on your main. Set learning objectives, lose a few games, go again. And what he's actually going to do, he's actually going to create ranked anxiety by doing this.
Yeah.
Because he's going to think, I have to win on my main now. Yeah. You know,
because
it's go time.
Because I've learned all these skills, and now if I don't win, you're gonna be so screwed.
He's going to be so in his head if he loses.
Yeah.
Because his expectations of himself are so high, he can't lose.
No, because this is what he said. This is the approach. He says, when you're ready, so this is step number 5. No. When you're ready, transfer to your second smurf, or if you're confident.
That is a recipe for disaster.
You go onto the main account and climb even faster. Who says you're going to climb, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what happens if you don't climb even faster, you know?
Yeah, what happens when you decline?
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's a recipe for disaster.
Be careful, Alex. Be very careful.
I mean, I think if you continue that trajectory, you're going to, you probably quit the game. You won't make it.
No.
You'll get so frustrated, you'll explode.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you've thought through this process a lot, and
I'm scared.
Very scary. Yeah.
And you're ruining other people's gaming experience.
Yeah.
So screw you, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I love you for tuning in, but at the same time, screw you. I hate Smurfs.
Yeah.
Not
All
nice.
right. The next one I want to highlight here, this is from your Discord server. This is about stories of people's ranks, because again, we want to tell everyone to share what each of our struggles and difficulties are on this podcast, see what you guys can relate to other players. You're not alone in your rank journey. You know, that's what we want to highlight here on the Broken by Concept podcast. So this is from Giftsforgiven. You obviously know him very well, Curtis. How long have you known Gifts for? When did you join your Discord?
Oh man, I don't know actually. At least probably 6 months.
Jeez.
I would say. Something like that.
All right, so Gift says, something I'd like to share with you all. I've had a pretty interesting journey this year with League and my interactions with the coaching server and the Broken by Concept podcast. So I think it means your server and the podcast. Yeah. I've struggled a lot in multiple areas, but I think the thing I've struggled with the most above all is the mental game of League of Legends. I've been my own worst enemy for over a year now, sabotaging my chances for growth and success wherever possible. I did a lot of reflecting recently, and I've decided to take a deep dive into my mental. I've boiled down a lot of mentality shifts that I need in my gameplay to 3 mantras. Number 1, just have a crack at it. Your performance in-game does not reflect who you are as a person. There is nothing at stake. All you're doing is giving it your best shot and learning something along the way. Number 2, chaos is inevitable. Embrace it. Things don't always go the way you want. Your bot lane loses multiple 2v2s. Your jungler makes a poorly timed invade and dies, gives doubles. It's up to you to embrace the inherent chaos of SoloQ. League isn't about how good of a planner you are. It's about how flexible of a player you are in the moment. As Bruce Lee famously said, be like water. His 3rd mantra, you are the only reason for your success and failure. Riot's matchmaking is not out to get you. Your teammates are not inting you. You are in the rank you deserve, and you are the only one who can change that rank. You might not be the reason you won or lost the game, but you are the reason you succeed or fail. It all comes down to you, nobody else. And he actually came up with a desktop background with these 3 mantras. We can share with our, maybe we can put on as a community post after this podcast.
Yep, he said it's available for the public.
So
there's another one in black.
Yeah, I think that one was a lot better because everyone likes a white black background. Yeah. So I mean, do we even agree with these mantras, Curtis? You did some coaching with him, right?
So we spoke about these things because what I've found, and I think this really holds people back, and it sounds like a bit of a buzz statement, like the whole chaos thing, right? But it's just legit. I mean, because the thing is, people think that, they come in with a game plan. It's like Mike Tyson. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
I love that. That's the perfect.
It's the perfect.
So relates to League so well.
Okay. Yes, you know how to play from ahead. You know how to win a game if everything goes perfectly. But how many games is that going to happen? There are so many variables that will play. Like you said, your jungler can do something wrong. Your top laner, your bot lane, the enemy support will roam. The mid laner can just ditch waves and go. You got to be ready to adapt. You're versing different players every time, playing different champions every time. And so many things can happen from level 1. So, in the long run, the player that is the most adaptable, versatile, flexible, someone who can understand the underlying concepts and apply them to every single game, they're the one that's going to have long-term success. And if you come into a game thinking, as soon as you get punched in the face once, you die to a random roam or your bot lane messes up, whatever it is, and you check out, you think, that's it, this game's unrealistic, or this game's out of my control, that's it. You're just not going to climb. That's it. Simple. You're not going to climb. It's chaos is 100% inevitable. And it's even less about, I like to view this in 2 aspects. There's the practical element of it, in the sense that you know how to assess and constantly update your role in a game. You may come in thinking you're the carry and you want all the resources, but then you might think, holy crap, my bot lane's actually killing it right now.
All I need to do is not die or just minimize, and like my jungler's playing towards them, that's my job.
Yep. All I need to do is not die right now. I don't need to do anything special right now. We're going to win.
Yeah.
Other games, you're going to have to be the carry. It's all on you. And you're versing a Nunu mid. They roam bot like 3 times, but you have all the resources. You're playing Cassiopeia, but you're 2 levels up. You got to execute. The carry is on you. So you have to be able to identify your role each game. So that's a practical sense, right? But the second one, it's more like that free flow element, isn't it? Because you know what, this is more of a philosophical and more of like a bit esoteric, but like even though in our lives, right, we don't even know what's going to happen in the next month, next week.
Coronavirus pandemic, bam, you got to adapt.
Yep, coronavirus pandemic. Even with what we do, right, like just something, you come up with a new idea and you want to do something different. or you found a new way to structure your coaching, or you found whatever it is in life. Shit happens. Shit hits the fan, dude. You can't plan years and years, and you got to be willing to adapt. You might have health issues. Someone in your family has problems. So we don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. How many of you out there listening thought that 2020, or even now heading into 21? I said this on the last podcast. 2021 is going to be a shit show. That's one of my expectation. I'm going to be willing to adapt. Do I have to stay locked down for another whole year in my thing? Do I have to move to the country and live like a hermit? I don't know. I'm gonna have to be willing to adapt.
Yeah. You're open to it, Curtis.
I'm open to it. I mean, I'm not thinking that everything's going to be okay. Everyone's going to get a vaccine. We're going to be all good. I don't believe that. The vaccine probably might not even work.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I'm getting at is you have to. That's the main core. My favorite of the three, personally.
So your favorite is the second one. Chaos is inevitable. We embrace it
because it's the mental aspect heading into the game.
Yeah. It's just getting ready for anything. Absolutely anything.
Okay, my bot line died. All right. What's next? What does that mean?
What's next?
What does that mean?
Yeah. How do I deal with this information?
Yeah.
My personal favorite is number one, just have a crack at it.
Yeah. You love that one.
That's my site. Have a crack. Didn't you get that from me?
Just having a crack.
Yeah, have a crack.
Yeah, just love it. Just have a crack.
You know what?
Such an Aussie term, isn't it?
Is it Aussie? I don't know.
I thought it was an Aussie
I don't know
thing,
where
have a
I got
crack.
it from, but I would always say it.
Just have a crack.
Just have a crack, It's like if my goal is to get challenger this season. I might not get it, but I'm just going to try, you know?
You can never, and I love that. I found this quote from A$AP Rocky in an interview ages ago. You can't, no one's going to hate on you for trying.
That's right.
Whoever hates on you for trying, like what sort of loser hates on someone for trying?
Yeah.
Like get a life, dude. If someone hates on you for trying, dude, I'm already above here. If I try and I fail, even if I don't get the result I want, at least I had a go, dude. At least I put myself out there and had an actual go. That's all you can do. If you can go out there and express your best self, see what you're capable of, there's nothing you should be ashamed of. Have a shot, dude. People are afraid to actually have a crack.
Yeah, because they're scared of failing.
But it actually feels the best.
Yeah, I might fail completely, but I still would have learnt a lot, And like obviously I have the luxury of getting better at my craft as well.
People are capable of way more than they think. That's one. Now that is one thing I never would have thought I would say in the past, but I think it's goddamn true. Remember that documentary we watched, The Dawn Wall?
Yeah, that's a perfect example.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
People are really good at actually achieving way more than they thought was ever possible. Really good at it.
David Goggins talks about this, Curtis. Spraying for cockroaches at 24 to pull up record, Navy SEAL. That's his narrative that was the peak of his life. Just eating donuts, fat, and spraying for cockroaches.
Pack it up. People can achieve way more than they think they can.
So we'll share that wallpaper.
Yeah, we'll share. You can. So for those of you who are in my Discord, it's in the Broken by Concept channel.
Yeah.
For Nathan,
we'll post it on the YouTube thing.
community.
It's this one here, isn't it?
the black. Maybe do the black one.
Oh, we'll do that one. Oh, I also wanted you to share that story, Curtis, of that guy who hid away from his friends to play.
Oh yeah. So I got a message from a guy on my Discord telling me about how he always had like toxic friends, like. Jab at him probably for like losing rank games or like maybe commenting on his loss streaks or having expectations about his level of play and his rank. And so what he decided to do is in the preseason, he made a new account, leveled it up from scratch and played his small champion pool and got like D2 in the preseason on this account. He like went past his peak or something like that. And so on this new account, no one knows he plays on it, has no friends,
none of his friends
name,
do.
Unknown ID. No one knows.
Yeah.
And he's been playing like amazingly set. It feels so free.
And what was holding him down was the opinions of his friends.
It was nothing about his gameplay. It was purely the pressure that his toxic friends.
Yeah.
And he's realized he's starting to cut out these toxic friends at his friendship circle. And it was doing that exercise that made him realize how much of his mental, this thing in his head that was holding him back.
And then he could figure out which ones were toxic friends. And
yeah, he's been figuring out which one's toxic. I think he's in the process of it at the moment.
Yeah. I love that story.
So cool. Yeah, actually insane. So about you, Nathan, we've spoken to a lot of people's ranked. What about yours? Tell me a bit about you. What have you been doing?
So let's do because this is going to be a segment. This is a weekly segment.
Okay.
The update on Nathan Mott's journey.
Okay. Yeah.
We've spoken a little about yours. So, another week has gone by. I'm still reviewing every single game and writing down notes. So the way that I literally do it is because I share this with my members, my ranked journey as well, right? So what I do is I record my reviews, just using Streamlabs OBS or whatever. And then I write down my notes on pen and paper. I don't like typing things out. I'm just not a typer.
Okay.
Write it down, and then the next day I'll make the video of all the games that I reviewed together for that day. I'll sort them all by, timestamps, and then I'll write those notes. I'll type them up on my, my coaching platform. So that's what I do every single game. I feel like it's such a therapeutic exercise for me as well. It's like I write down my notes on paper, and then the next day I write them on the computer as well. And then I get to recap. It's like, oh, I'm making these mistakes again.
Like the bookmark thing.
Yeah.
It's like you're seeing where you left off in a way, where you were thinking, what your thinking was like.
So right now I have played 69 games this season.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 52% win rate, and I'm Master Tier 68 LP, which is rank 54 on OS right now.
Is that rank 54?
Yeah,
what the hell?
I know. It's pretty crazy. No. So I did have a 14% win rate on Hecarim. I have started to feel a little bit more understanding how the way Hecarim works. A big thing for me is...
What changed?
Just not ulting. Just hold your ult, man, all the time, and take small wins. No, it's actually the biggest one was from that small wins that we talked about from last episode.
Small wins.
Like, I've really worked on that a lot more. So now I have a 42% win rate on Hecarim from that 14%.
Yep.
So I would say that. So recently I've been playing in like the challenger games, like the rank 1 players like Kisei, that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. I would say that I'm actually really struggling to keep up with pace in some of these games.
Yep.
Because obviously I've always played against like the diamond junglers and like low master tier and stuff, and it's a different game. Mm-hmm. It really is a different game. Different. And like I am just straight up losing my team games from super simple mistakes that I wouldn't actually make, I feel like, if I was playing in diamond, because I'm in this mindset where like I have to do things because I'm a jungler. I got to do things in this game because I'm playing with high elo players, and like you got to do stuff. It's like, and we talk about this all the time, but I just switch my mentality for some reason because it's like I got to do stuff. So like I'm dying on crabs, my first crab, which you should like. It's almost, if you have the right information, you should never die on the first crab unless you're taking an intentional 50-50 fight, right? So one game I even didn't bother tracking the jungle where they started.
Yeah. Just like basics.
Very basic stuff that I preach all the time. And I'm literally just single-handedly losing my team. I went on a 4-loss streak yesterday. I played one game with you where I literally pretty much lost the game from dying on crab.
Right.
So yeah, I'm definitely struggling. Like I'm realizing how hard it's going to be to get to Challenger now.
Right.
Like I've been hovering. I mean, I've been around Master 50, 60 LP for the last 4 days. I really haven't. I'm not climbing anymore. Like I think this is my skill level right now.
Okay.
So, but it's fun. It's fun. My Nunu is really good, and I have this reputation now of being an OS in terms of being a Nunu one trick. And it sort of like annoys me a little bit because it's like he's not a mechanical champion. I'm obviously known as not a mechanical player. So I don't know.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know. I feel like I'm close to getting into an identity crisis on my champ pool, but I need to just not give a fuck about people's opinions, dude.
I think you just got to commit.
I'm just going to commit to it, dude. Like, look at that 69% we made on Nunu. Like, if I just play Nunu a lot, I feel like I should be able to
as long as you get careful, though, because you don't want to rely on it.
Yeah, well, that's the dangerous thing.
That's
like,
the dangerous
I'm still
thing. You can make that your identity if you continue this trajectory.
And then people push that identity on you as well.
People push that identity onto you.
In Champ Select, I hover Hecarim or Eve because those are the other champs in my pool. Play Hecarim, play Nunu. And I sort of listen to them sometimes. And
it's not good at all.
So I'm starting to go down the hole.
I think right now you should start this journey of not playing Nunu as much now.
Well, I'm sort of conscious of it.
Scared?
I'm scared. I don't know. I actually don't know what to do here.
I think it's pretty simple, dude.
You think that I just...
Nathan,
the
most difficult thing to do is go, if you're higher, and you get to let's say you get to like 450 LP with Nunu.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you get with that one champion.
Yeah.
So you're a 450 LP Nunu player. But then you're like, fuck, I'm sick of being a Nunu one trick. You're going to go on a huge loss streak. Not because you're even that bad on the champions, just because like you're going to get flamed, you're going to have like all these like crazy expectations of your level of play and shit like this. It's just going to be messy. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just saying it's a recipe for disaster.
I'm feeling it, dude. It's getting close, man.
Yeah, just be careful. Be very careful.
So, but I'm still sprinkling in Eve and Like, I played 12 games of Hecarim. I've got 29 on Nunu. So it's not that
okay.
far. 10 is Eve.
Yeah.
So,
You're getting there?
you know, like, it's not like a complete one trick, you know?
Yeah.
I tried at some
Not
Olaf
yet.
games yesterday, and I just don't understand the champion identity right now.
I think you need to stick to 3 for now, not 4.
I think I'm pushing it
I think
potentially too
Hecarim,
much.
Eve, and... I think Hecarim, Eve, and Nunu are a good pool, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's okay.
that's what my intention pool.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is I struggle against Kindred and like Olaf, like completely counter my pool.
Right.
And these are very meta champs right now.
That's so annoying.
So like some games
Yeah.
I'm just like, I go into the game just knowing I'm just going to get screwed, but
Yeah.
like I'm just going to do my best, really.
Okay.
So that's my ranked update so
Nice.
far. So, you know, we're getting there.
Getting there.
Is there anything else you want to talk about your curse? Let's look at your OPGG right now.
No, I haven't really been playing that much.
Yeah,
I'm just
you've
trying to
been
figure out my
focusing on
champ
other
pool.
things. Yeah.
Been playing a lot of Victor because I did the Victor guide.
So what's your champ pool right now?
What the one thing I'm super confused about is support pick. I need an off roll, a secondary role
Got
pick.
it.
And my secondary role support, right? And I've been experimenting. I need to find one. I just want one. For me, last year was actually Pantheon, but Pantheon's been changed. And I actually played a game with it and it went okay, but like not being able to block tower shots with the E is actually really big. It actually changes a lot with what you can do. I feel like I might as well just like I'm trying to find what engage support to all in on, whether it's like Set or Thresh or like Leona or Alistair or something or whatever it is. I'm just trying to find that. So I'm actually trying to find that at the moment. I have Victor, I have Fizz and Victor. That's it, and I have Renekton as well. That's it. But I have all these other champs I know I can already play to a higher level, but I don't want to play them. I know I can play TF, Galio, Orianna to like a challenger level.
Yeah.
But I don't want to rely on them yet. I want to reinvigorate my pool a bit.
Got it.
So I'm all leaning on Fizz, Renekton, and Victor for now.
Got it.
So I think Renekton mid's like it's good. And actually one champ I was actually thinking of having in here was Cassiopeia. So I was actually thinking of
Jesus
Victor.
Christ, this is a huge pool, man.
There's 4.
That's 4. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Because Victor doesn't really count because I'm so comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So like the other 3 is like it would be Fizz and Cassio as well. I'm already really comfortable. So it's like it's not like I'm dead brand new champions. The only ones I'll struggle with is Fizz, but I'll get there. And I'm willing to lose a lot with Fizz because I have to learn it. So yeah, I think I'm thinking of adding Cassio again, but we'll see how that goes.
So wait. So are you a challenger level player on any of the champs in your pool right now?
Victor for sure.
Victor for sure, and that's it.
Yeah, not there yet with Fizz, not there with Renekton, and not there with. I would say I'm very close with Cassio though. Even though I haven't played it, I know I am. So I would say yeah, just with Victor right now. But then I'm not playing the other 3 that I'm at a challenger level at.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll get there.
I mean, part of me as well wants to test myself to see if I can get challenger with Nunu as like a start.
You can do that if you want. I think that's up to you, man. It's a big decision to make.
It is a big decision.
All right, so I reckon we dive into the rest of this episode,
Okay.
which was going to be the main part of this episode.
Yeah.
So I was talking to you a few days ago how I kind of wanted to just spice up the podcast a bit. All right.
Spice up the podcast.
Yeah. I mean,
With some Coach Curtis opinions.
well, the thing is, dude, is that like there's a lot of just
We got
the
confidence.
same regurgitated opinions on the same topics.
So where are these opinions coming from, Curtis?
No, it's just the same shit about Reddit. The same
Yeah.
nothing goes deep.
Yeah.
Nothing goes very, very deep.
Surface level
Yeah, all
conversation.
surface level conversation.
This thing sucks. This thing's good. This thing sucks.
Yep. So what I wanted to do is kind of do a... I was just thinking a lot about Riot. I was thinking a lot about League, the trajectory of League as a game. I was thinking about a few things. And one of the points I was thinking at was... One of the things I was riffing off of was... And look, this is going to be a bit of an exploratory conversation. I don't know where this is going to lead. And I might even be wrong. I'm open to be completely wrong here. I'm throwing it out there. A part of me feels like Riot and League of Legends is going down the route of Facebook.
And what's that route?
Where they started out very pure and they had a great concept, a great idea, and even had, you know, people, the actual user experience, everyone loved it. It was a great idea. That's why it became so popular. It filled a niche in the market. People really enjoyed using Facebook. It actually had positives, massive positives, connecting people around the world. You know, it was their slogan, wasn't it? Connect people around the world, whatever.
Yeah.
But then what happened, we look at Facebook now, they never would have thought they had the impacts or these negative impacts on the world that they when they started this.
Yeah, and the whole political game. And
The whole political game, the
getting sued for data leaks.
data
and
stuff and just crazy, influence campaign, political
literally
campaigns.
Mark Zuckerberg in front of Congress talking, he has to explain himself and stuff like that.
And and even like the effect it's having on the younger generation with this image, like even like
Social media.
the
in
effect
general.
social media's had on society as a whole. And I want to talk about League and the impact it could be having, and it may potentially have.
So you think right now, League is going to be in that situation where they've got such big responsibility now that they're not managing it right now, and it's close to getting off the rails?
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried that they're unaware, or either they are aware and they're not doing anything about it, of the negative impact that they are having on society.
So what's the negative impact?
Because how many players play League?
There's a lot, man.
I mean, we're in the hundreds of millions, right?
The play or have played?
I don't know. There's just a lot.
Yeah.
Now, I like to think about this super simply.
It's the biggest game in the world.
Biggest game in the world. But
Yeah.
I like to think about this super simply. Let's think about the user experience, the player experience. Okay? If you were to play up and queue up and play 3 games of ranked SoloQ in a row, the chances of one of them being an incredibly miserable experience because of either getting hardcore abused or, just having like absolute anxiety because of you're scared of what's going to happen in that game based on what other people say to you and what people do to you, people trolling you, AFKing, running it down, stealing your minion waves, whatever it is. The fact that this exists so often and so commonly, and what this is doing to people, like there are kids that are addicted to the game. They've made a very addictive game with the skins, with the rank system.
Yeah.
They've made an incredibly addictive game where, there are people out there that say they're going to quit and they have a miserable experience playing the game, but they still play. They're addicted and they can't stop. And what this could be, this could be having a massive effect on people's mental health, their self-confidence, their image, the way they view themselves, their inability to improve. They could actually creating a fixed mindset because the messages that are getting propagated throughout the industry. I mean, there are a lot of dangerous, toxic things going out there. Now, what it brings me back to is, yes, Curtis, you're a negative Nancy. You're talking about all these negatives. We all love League. I play it. We love the game. I love the game as well. I think it's the greatest game ever. It's the most amazing game. And some of my greatest memories of my life are playing League. Some of the most fun I've ever had. But it's worrying to me how common these negative experiences are. And the fact that I have to mute all, majority of my games, it's just a huge fucking problem. And now it leads me back to Riot. It leads me back to League of Legends.
So you think it's a huge problem because you feel like you shouldn't have to do that?
Well, it feels like it just goes unpunished.
Yeah.
It's embedded in the culture.
Yeah.
It's literally becoming
to
accepted.
the point, yeah.
Right?
Because everyone else doesn't know. Everyone gets away with it.
Toxic discords and the whole,
we talk about
whatever
that.
it is. We've talked about this on all of our episodes, right? For so long. And it leads me back to the point where, at the end of the day, League of Legends and Riot, it's a business. They're here to make money.
That's what people can forget.
People forget that League of Legends is a business. And let's actually break down their business model.
Yeah.
Their business model, they have a free-to-play game, which is mass, right? The reason you have free is you want mass audience playing the game, and then you have cosmetics and you have other little things that you can buy in the game
Through
as well.
Riot points, which you need to pay for.
Which you need to pay for, right?
Yep.
Microtransactions is a very popular business model, right? And that was and so their model revolves around mass.
Yeah. Well, having as many players as possible to buy their skins
Not
and their...
not the quality of players, the quantity of players.
That's right.
You want this
Yeah.
mass quantity of
Yeah.
people playing the game, getting addicted, spending money on the game.
Yeah.
And now, especially since Riot has been bought out, right? They were bought out by Tencent.
Yeah. Many
There's
years ago.
shareholders
Yep.
that want money. They want to see growth. They want to see profits. They want to see big revenue with minimal expenses.
And the best way to get revenue and grow is to get more players and also to make more champions with more skins.
More skins, more champions, just more shit to you to get obsessed with the game so you don't get bored or whatever. Well, if you think about it, League, have you ever heard anyone say League is boring because there's just no champions? Or
No one's quit the game because there wasn't enough champions.
no one's, and
Everyone's like, where's my Yone? Yone is not coming.
You can release one champion every 3 months, 4 months. How many new champions did we get in the last 5 months? There was Lilia, Yone, Samira, what was the other one? was another one. There was like 4. It was a very short period of time.
Yeah.
And we get skins up the arse 24/7. Now, like, when have you heard someone say, yeah, I'm bored of this game. It's not complex enough. It's not enough champions. It's not changing enough. There's already patches all the time. The game is a beautifully designed game. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is that I believe more people quit the game. More people want to quit the game or have a negative experience with the game or just generally don't play the game as much as they would have purely because of their negative experiences playing the game. I get abused. It's toxic. It's too stressful. Like, I hate the whole system. Like, there are so many flaws in the system. And it just leads me to the point is, like, maybe they're just not incentivized. Like, let's talk about incentivizations.
So the people at the top making the decisions. So you're saying that Riot should focus more on the experience,
the user experience,
rather than
making more money,
and growing.
Rather than growth. Let's just stop growing for a second.
Yeah.
Even though this wouldn't make, like, maybe in terms of financially, right? Maybe this is just a problem with the model. Like, rather than just focusing on growth and making it sexy and all these events and shit like that. I urge any one of these Riot executives to play. Fucking you play SoloQ. You go up into ranked and get abused.
It's true. Yeah.
You do that.
Yeah.
You're pushing this game, saying how, like, amazing and positive it is, and how many people should play it.
Yeah.
We talk about how, and maybe we're to blame as well. We talk about how great League is, and I truly believe it's an amazing tool for personal development.
Well, there's people that
confidence.
write into us, Curtis, where we tell them that they potentially shouldn't be playing the game because they need to sort out real life stuff.
When have
as
we
well.
heard that? Yeah, the people that shouldn't play the game, the people that are actually probably losing self-confidence, ruining their self-image, probably actually furthering their mental health issues. When have we heard this shit?
Well, so this is the thing, Curtis. Like, Riot would have to publicly acknowledge that, and that would be damaging to them because then people will be like, oh, Riot's saying that their game's actually super negative. That will just get slaughtered in public media.
The public game in the media.
Yeah. And then there goes your share price. There goes
the shareholders, and they're pissed off. They can't recognize. They're not incentivized to recognize the problem. No. They can't go out there and say, look, there's a massive problem with toxicity. This is what we're going to do. How could they say that? You know, if they would admit that was true, then what does that mean? It's been going on for a long ass time. You know? It's this failure to recognize what is going on. And we've told them there is so many smart people out there that are a billion-dollar company where there's a lot of smart people out there with a lot of unique solutions. Show me any of them, apart from, like, oh, cool, you introduced SmurfQ, that's one thing, which is not really even to do with toxicity. It's purely just get rid of smurfing, which, you know, I think is pretty good. But, like, how can, like, you hire, like I said, it's super, super simple. You create the trickle-down effect.
So people
a proposed solution. This might not even be what they do or what they should do.
Okay,
but it's a solution.
Yeah. So we have a big belief that it must come top down in terms of the best players need to be setting the role model about how to interact with other teammates and how to play the SoloQ game.
That's correct. So
and this is not to the extent it's like, oh, we're all friends and we're happy and stuff like that.
No, they don't have to be positive. Just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Like, don't just hardcore abuse someone.
Yeah.
Like, can you not do that?
I heard that there's really popular this term called rope it.
I don't know what that is.
In NA.
Oh, right.
This is a really popular term in NA. Someone popularized it, basically saying, you know, kill yourself through, through hanging yourself. Like that. That's
actually, like, used commonly.
Yeah, that's commonly used.
Like, the fact that is commonly used.
And Riot's actually going to put rope as a banned word.
Like, just the fact that has to happen.
How crazy is that?
Think about that. They have to recognize that comment. They have to use it as a band. Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
That is messed up.
It is, isn't it?
That's messed up.
Yeah.
So, like, again, our solution, to clarify, is you would hire a team of a few people on each server to scan and have insane consequences for any form of toxicity in Master Plus games. Okay? There's not many people playing in Master Plus on some of these servers. It wouldn't even take that much. And it's the fact that you would even have to not ban... You know, it would be over time, but it's the fact that people are getting banned for, like, permanently. We're talking permanently banned on these accounts. That fear is going to, like, actually kick in. And, like, yes, this is not the way to go about it all the time. Maybe we want positive reinforcement, but just, like, enough is enough. You know, like, at some point this has to be brought about. And You know what? I'm going to just say, I'm going to call it out, all right? I'm going to go ham here.
All right, here we go. Okay.
I'm just going to go ham here.
Yeah.
All right?
Just go, because this is your platform. This is our podcast.
In Oceania, right? There are like these players that like have insane egos but haven't achieved anything. And this is the problem, is that these players that treat other people like shit and are literally just like awful to play with, they're getting signed by orgs. For example, Kevy getting signed by Direwolves as their jungler. What a fucking joke.
So what's Kevy done specifically?
Oh, he's just toxic as fuck. Just abuses people.
Yeah, he wouldn't be a good role model.
Okay, you're pushing this as like the role models of the oceanic community. You're picking up a toxic asshole.
It's funny that I'm literally around the dials.
Like, what a disgrace. What message is that sending?
Yeah.
With his stories of Will in NA, just all these screenshots of like famous pro players being fucking toxic. Like Sven Skaren and like all these other players, dude. Like just crazy shit. And it's sad to see that they get rewarded. Like that's a reward. I'm toxic. I developed this ego, put other people down. And look at me, now I get signed. Woohoo. It worked. It's like that is the problem at the core level, is that it's not only you're not getting punished, you're getting rewarded.
You're getting rewarded, that's right, yeah.
Like people think you're cool.
Yeah.
You know, I'm scared of this guy. He's going to abuse me. He's an elitist, whatever it is. It's like,
well, then people also look up to like, oh, the pro player can be like that. Like that's the cool thing. That's the edgy thing. It's like, you know, just like abuse people and stuff like that. And I'll be like that. And then like that's they're the role models.
And only a few of them need to exist.
Yeah.
Only a few of them need to exist. Like one or two need to exist. That's all it takes. You know, it's unpleasant to be around, and that's the joke. So, like, and this is where I think it goes down. Let's talk about like Riot, right? We talk about the incentives. So first of all, they're not incentivized to recognize this as a problem. And if they were to, like, this is probably, maybe they don't actually realize that none of these players will quit. They're worried that, oh my, if we start banning all these people are going to quit. No. It's actually, it has the opposite effect.
That's our philosophy. They just never quit. The best player, the higher level players, because they've invested so much time into the game.
I've actually never seen someone quit forever. They always come back. All the old school players as well, they always come back. They say they quit and they always still play League.
That's true. If you actually think about the example of who was actually a really like positive member, Radia, right?
Even he still plays League.
He plays here and there, and he's like a full-time like professional trader, I think. Yeah. So they come back.
No one quits. They always come back.
Yeah.
These players, they don't quit. If you've got to that level, you've committed that many games, you've gotten to like Diamond 1 Master, you're not quitting the game if you get banned. I guarantee you. They will say they do, but they never quit. I've never known anyone to quit. I'm literally being dead serious. The only person I've met quit, actually no, the only people that I've known quit were not high elo.
Yeah.
They were actually lower elo.
Yeah.
Anyone who's gotten Master Plus they do not quit.
Yeah, I can't think.
I actually can't think of one.
I think there might be some.
I'm even thinking old school players like Kensti. I've seen him in SoloQ.
Does Kensti still play?
I've seen him in SoloQ.
No, there's definitely some, dude. Like people like, I don't know, because there's definitely many. Like THT. Where's
How
he?
do you know?
I actually don't know.
We don't know that.
I don't know that.
Exactly.
I don't know that. Yeah, but again, there's definitely some people that aren't around anymore. But yeah, it's true.
They are. That's my point. I see them.
Okay.
Randomly.
Yeah.
Like I saw an OG, you know who I popped in. I popped into a game with like Scream and Rosie and Kensti.
Really?
Yeah, they're all there.
Wow.
Dude.
Oh, fascinating.
They don't quit, dude.
Yeah, there you go. So another solution. Okay, so you're saying the solution, potential solution is Riot hire. I was trying to think about
and
this
not
today.
a bot. It's not a bot. It
It's
needs
a
to be. They need
manual
to be, and it need to like just people that have actual common sense.
Yeah.
And just like if someone's being like an absolute just a dick, like a bad human, just done. Yeah. No tolerance.
So like I was trying to think of,
and if they argue it, just get fucked.
Let's say in NA SoloQ, how many high elo like challenger games do you reckon there are a day? I was thinking maybe like 150 games.
I don't know. I genuinely
just the
don't.
ballpark.
Okay, at 200, yeah, something
150. All right, let's say like 200 games, right?
Yeah.
You hire 5 people.
Yep.
To go through
8 hours a day.
8 hours. I don't even think it would take that long.
No, you don't look at all. It's the same players.
You just go through the chat logs of all those games, right? Just from start to finish.
You could just spectate, and have the chat.
No,
logs
you wouldn't spectate. You could literally just a chat log on a PD on a.
And then if something's spicy, you just go into that game and see the situation.
Yeah.
Should be easy.
That could probably be very easily done. You would probably need to hire 5 people to manage it for one server.
It's like $1 billion company. I'm sure they can hire 5 people to do that.
Yeah.
Rather than make it like a spend rather than like developing some bullshit lore story and like like think about all the time and energy there has been on like KDA music videos or like lore background of like some, you know, character. Yes, the lore's kind of cool, but if the game sucks ass,
can't they do both, Curtis?
can't they do both? But I'm even playing devil's advocate here. Like, like
they're focused on that as a company.
We're focused on so many wrong things.
Yeah.
The game sucks for some people.
Yeah.
Like the game experience, like it's like I don't understand how a game can be so good and so bad at the same time.
It's true.
I never thought that would be. It's like Facebook. How can a concept be so good and so bad at the same time?
Yeah.
That's why it says Facebook. Facebook is an ingenious idea
that
has revolutionized.
It was well executed.
Revolutionized society.
Yeah.
For positives.
And people boycott it now.
And people think it's the worst platform ever and done the most toxic damage to society.
The same thing's happening with Twitter as well.
It just shows, dude. This is why I think it's heading in a direction that something needs to change. And that's what I'm saying. The incentives of Tencent aren't aligned with the incentives of the people that actually play the game.
Yeah.
Or the people, and think about like, you know, like an executive proposing an idea of doing something.
Yeah, the perfect example is like, let's think about the way the Tribunal came into League, right? It would have just been, they saw a very small team.
So the Tribunal, for those of you who don't know, there was like this weird report. It was like an actual whole platform.
Yeah.
It was like a community-based platform thing where you could like see chat logs, and then the community would vote whether that person should get banned or not.
Yeah, so as a player, you would report someone in a game, and if it had like enough reports or whatever, it would actually go to a case. And then you like a random person can log on and they'll get like IP or influence points, which is like the same as Blue Essence. And they'll get rewarded from sitting there and managing the community. It's like the community was managing itself.
Like the fact that could happen.
That's so cool. But that can never happen now.
Never happen now.
Like that was just some random guy probably in the office, like, oh, hey guys, like let's try out this idea. Like it's not like it was a good thing. I don't think it was.
Yeah, no, but they had a crack.
And
it showed their intention was actually caring.
Yeah.
When have they cared about the quality of the game now?
Yeah, now they just ignore it. It's about growth.
Just ignore it. It's ignored.
Well, I guess we can't say completely ignore because they did the SmurfQ thing. But they're definitely not acknowledging it to the point that it needs to be.
You know the other thing as well, why I feel like they're so detached? The fact that autofill exists, like I'm swearing a lot because I'm just angry. I'm so angry.
Yeah,
the fact that autofill exists in SoloQ is an absolute disgrace.
Okay, so the argument there is that queue times are too long.
And let me break this down. Okay, I don't mind secondary role. Okay, secondary role is acceptable. But autofill is a whole different ball game. This shows they are so detached from the game that it makes me sick. You go into a game, like... Okay, let's even put this super simply. Get a writer who plays the game, who's in a decently high position. They're a goal player, so they're a goal 1 player. Get them to go into a game as autofill jungle. Go 0-5, get abused by their whole team. Do you want to play that next game? Tell me, honestly, do you want to play that again? You want to go up and get autofill? You can get autofill twice. Is that a pleasant gaming experience? Is someone going to want to buy shit and play that game?
You're going to...
I'd rather work at McDonald's than play an autofill jungle game. You know what I mean?
That might be a bit far, Curtis. Come on. But yeah, I mean...
I've worked at Macca's.
It's not even about you, Curtis. It's about...
I'm just talking about the average player.
We're
not even talking about the high elite community at this point. We're talking about the average player in gold or silver.
Yeah.
Autofill is an awful experience.
It should be completely rude. It's not.
It wouldn't even affect, because the queue times, the reason it's not even a guarantee it's not a big problem is because people dodge. People dodge. Even if they're not the one autofill, because they don't want an autofill jungle. The fact that they get anxiety that their jungle is going to be autofilled. Like, what the fuck? Okay, on top of this, what was the other? I had another really funny point. Is that, it's like the other thing as well is that swapping exists. It's not like you get mid and you have to play mid. You can tell someone, do you want to swap roles?
Yeah.
So you get on the other team, even if someone's autofilled, they can all communicate and they get the jungler on jungle role.
They have a huge advantage.
And then you have a massive advantage, and it's not even fair.
Yeah, because that's right. Because the argument there is like, oh, well, they have autofill versus other autofill.
But it's not the case.
But that's not the case.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's flawed. It's broken by concept.
It's broken by concept. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
That's how you use the word. And I'm just so angry. And I'm just so angry because I love this game and it has so much potential. And I hate using the word potential as well. I just hate everything, right?
What do you like, Curtis? Right
I mean,
now?
the game is just beautiful, right? And,
Yeah.
and it really is an amazing experience in some games.
Yeah.
But then
The majority
the
of it's a
lows
negative
are so
experience.
low at the
Yeah.
same time.
You question why you even play the game.
So what needs to happen is that you need to get incredibly passionate people at the top who genuinely care about the player experience, leading, a change, and like just being real, dude. Like, it's so corporatized. It's so like so detached. Like the fact that Seraphine as a champion like gets brought out and stuff like that. Like
well, that was the other champion, Seraphine.
yeah, Seraphine.
Yeah.
Like the fact that happens and the backlash in the community. Yes, there's a small segment of people that want to play a pop star on a floating stage with a microphone and stuff like that and sings. But like, was that what the game was about?
There was actually a Reddit thread saying that there was a petition to do the next champion's a monster champion because everything's just humanoid and
Think about
sexy
that.
women.
Yeah, it
and
has to be sexy men with big
strong
tits and shit.
and strong men and
With six packs and
Yeah,
stuff.
for
And
the-
then, edgy, cool, dark
Yeah.
characters like Yone and
Yeah.
like stuff like that.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah. Again, it's
Yeah,
all,
we're becoming so corporatized. It's all about the money now. And
Yeah.
it's a business.
Yeah.
And we have to recognize the business.
that's right. Well, we understand why it happens. It's not like we're angry at them for it.
Yeah, I understand. But what I'm saying is that like,
Yeah, the camera just died. We're going to quickly change the battery.
All right, we'll take a break now.
Well,
We'll come
we'll
back.
be back in a jiffy.
All right, so what we're talking about? We're talking about the Riot, Tencent. We're talking about So I want to go back to the.
Yeah, because your point, the thing that's okay. So again, these are things that why it can't happen. You said let's just get some passionate people at the top.
Yeah,
Things
yeah.
okay. Decisions are going to be way too slow because they have to go through such a formal process.
Okay. Let's even think about their incentive, right? If you think of the average executive, they probably have KPIs, right? Or they probably have rewards for having more growth or whatever it is.
Yeah, you'd have to make the case that this is going to help the game. It's hard. It's like
It's so
immeasurable.
hard.
It's like, how do you rate someone's user experience? Can you do that?
It's very difficult. It's so hard. You can't do a survey unless you do like a survey and then you got like RP for it, but no one's going to fill that up seriously.
Yeah.
Like what I'm saying, okay, this is where like protests come into play.
Yeah.
Like think about like, okay, I mean, I don't really know much about politics.
Yeah.
But like, if you're really upset, okay, what's that documentary on actually Netflix
What is it?
about? You remember that one we watched about the social media? And
The social
Facebook?
dilemma.
The social
Yeah.
dilemma, right?
Yeah.
Think about that whole thing. So he actually created like a company trying to expose Facebook or was it all these social media platforms, right? He actually went out and actively he worked in it, and he saw how it was run, saw that it wasn't correct, it wasn't right. For those of you who haven't seen that, I highly recommend watching that documentary called The Social Dilemma.
Well, he was about how calculated those companies are in making you stay on the platforms for as long as possible.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was inside, and essentially, like, he's trying to raise awareness. And if you raise enough awareness, then you can actually go to like, you can just like you can create a movement. You can actually gain voices. You can actually get people excited about it. Like, it has to come from people who really know the intricacies of what goes on behind the scenes. And look, you know what? This whole conversation, we might be 5 years too early right now. We might not see the effects of what we're talking about now for another 5, 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Where like the game slowly dies, it becomes a commercial joke. The ranked integrity is terrible. And then people start to lose faith in Riot. And then all these horror stories come out where saying I killed myself because I bubbled these people in online on League did this, but whatever it is, okay, like we might be just too early. None of this might not even make sense and might not come to fruition. But why I'm saying this now is because I care about the longevity of the game.
Absolutely. Because we've spent 10 years of our life invested in it.
I mean, I don't want to see the game die in like 5 years.
And it shouldn't die. It's great. It's still a great game. Right now, this exact moment, it's still a very good game.
Yes, that's correct. But it's like where it's heading.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just concerned. I really am. So this is a big issue. I'd love to like kind of raise it. And I think that, we need to start this conversation. I'm not willing to just accept things. This is just the way it is. This is the way League is. Just accept it. Please, if you want to play the game, you have to be really resilient, and you have to like mute all and you have to like do this.
that's most of my coaching. It's like we got to build mental strength, guys. We got to be resilient, which is
part
part
of it. And you can't be a snowflake and play the game. That's fine, but if you want to play, but it's it's the extremes. We're talking about the fact that these extremes exist on regularly. It's not like you play 10 games and it'll happen like one or two of them. It's like you play 10 games, it's going to happen probably half of them. Right? So anyway, that's where I've been thinking anyway. That's where my mind's been. And just thinking about more the core reason, the incentives of the people that actually make these decisions. Are they incentivized to help grow or help the healthiness of the game?
Not really.
Probably not. No. And it's kind of like, even if you think about remember the crash? Was it the 07, 08?
08, yeah.
08?
Yep.
And you always see all those stories about the bankers and how their incentive, like the way the system worked was like, the rating people were incentivized to give high ratings. So these banks were paying high, they were given like a cut. And then like, there was all this beautiful system of making money. And no one there was incentivized to call out what was going wrong. Because they're all getting so much money.
That's right.
Right? You got to always question these and why does something happen? Rather than looking at like the end result, the surface level, there's so much toxicity. All right, let's look about why there hasn't been any change. Why is there so little care? Why does it continue to happen over the years? And nothing has really happened. And then you look at it, okay, who are the people making decisions? And just go on from there. I think that, I don't know where, there's a lot of assumptions going on here. This is just my theory. Maybe this is going to turn into a conspiracy theory podcast.
The conspiracy theory, where league's heading.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's an important topic to bring up. I mean, I'd love to hear what the comments are on this YouTube video. People agreeing or disagreeing, or everyone just has a positive experience in the league, but we know that's not the case.
Well, again, another interesting... So I got Swagner from my Discord messaging me and telling me on the Broken By Concept, he was telling me, Curtis, like, I'm sick of people, especially in the NA collegiate scene, they just say, the game just sucks. The game's just shit. They use that as an excuse for like a cop out, right? They lose the game. The game sucks.
I mean, I've heard that before. It's like champs are imbalanced and the game's just terrible.
The game's just bad. But like those people, if that was the case, why do they play it? So they don't actually believe that.
Oh, I mean, yeah, they don't actually.
They're just saying it's like deflecting.
It comes from like insecurity a little bit about they can't accept their level of play.
Well, it's like finding any excuse.
Yeah, it's just common human behavior. You don't want to take responsibility. You got to find an outside excuse that's out of your control type thing. You want to focus on out of your control versus in your control.
So what I'm saying is like why the reason I brought that up is there an element of truth to that, or is it just like based on what we've said, right? Based on what we said.
Does the game suck?
Because what I'm worried about is that like the game itself, I think that we all know the game is amazing. That's why we all play it. We love it. We listen to us talking shit about it. Like we love the game, right? But, okay. So generally, this is actually what this is sometimes the way I like to think about just the game, but also life in general. Is like when you say something or feel something or like you listen to something like that. Generally, I view it as like a sign. It's a sign something's not right. Because out of everything someone could say, right? Think of everything that you could blame, everything you could say as a reason why something went wrong.
Those people say that it's the game's fault.
It's the game's fault. Was the game shit? Like, what does that mean? Like, is that a sign, or am I just overreading things here? Is that a sign that like something's deteriorated? That wasn't common either. I mean, back in the day. I mean, I've never heard that. I don't hear that often. And now it's apparently becoming more and more common now. And he's like sick of it. So I don't something he's like kind of sick of it. I mean, is this a sign? Is this a sign that it's like a mounting? It's like, again, the pile is like growing and growing. Is it like the sign that the game is maybe not taking the right steps? Or is it this is just like a small group of people that are just toxic and they're going to say it anyway?
Potentially.
Okay, another way of viewing it is this. This is another thing I'm scared of. Have you ever heard of like that analogy where like, say like you're on the toilet and use your phone, and you drop your phone in the toilet.
Is this something you've done, Curtis?
No,
I've never done this either.
And it's like covered in shit.
Yeah.
And piss.
That's disgusting, but go on.
and you get it out.
Yeah.
You try and wash it, you try and fix it.
Yeah.
And then like you take it to the phone repairer. Let's say you even get it fixed. But like that it was like covered in shit. And you know that like what it's been through. You kind of know.
Where are you getting that with this analogy?
Just bear with me.
Where are you going? I'm like, are you trying to like? I'm trying to think. What's League of Legends? What's the players? What's like?
No, hear me out here.
Continue on.
So yeah, you get this phone back, but it's not the same.
It's just not the same. Okay.
Because like you know what it's been through, and you're like,
that's okay. Yeah,
you get what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I do.
So it's like been covered in shit. It like probably doesn't smell the same.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's not the phone that you loved.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Yeah.
What I'm scared of is we're heading into a direction where like there's like all this build up beneath the surface, and at some point the sheet's gonna be ripped off the top. It's gonna get exposed. Massive change is gonna happen when it could have actually been fixed in a much healthier way over time.
Yeah.
And then the game's just not going to be the same anymore. And people aren't going to view the game anymore.
Yeah.
It's going to be like just changed forever in a way. And people are going to be, I wish it was like it was in the past. Because I'm scared it's kind of like Facebook. They have to overreact because they didn't deal with it for so long. They have to overreact. They have to go to the extremes to fix it and do things with the platform but the image is just screwed. I don't view Facebook the way I viewed it in the past.
Yeah, no
nothing they can do can recover that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nothing they do will ever repair or give me back the respect that I had for that company. And that's what I'm kind of feeling is like at some point, like what's going to happen when like the horror stories start coming out or the trajectory actually maybe it starts to become fulfilled and the ranked experience, all this shit. Like maybe we just don't view people aren't going to view Riot as a reliable company. There's so much respect. It's like no matter like given what's happened, I just don't view the same way. Or even the game, it could even happen to the game. You get what I'm getting? You see what I'm getting?
Yeah, it's a potential. That's a serious fear, cause I agree. Is that there is irreparable damage?
Irreparable damage. I mean, maybe not. Maybe the game's just too addictive. I don't know. But it's a fear of mine as well.
I think it's a valid fear, Curtis.
Yeah.
Anything else we should discuss around this topic, Curtis?
Can't think of anything off the top of my head. I think I've got everything off my chest. I'd love to hear back from the community on this one.
Absolutely.
And this could be like a constant thing we just touch on across episodes. But you know what? What I want the theme of this podcast to be, I want to keep tying back to this, guys. And what I'm passionate about is like, I just want to talk about shit that we all think about that no one says. I just want to cool bullshit on stuff.
Absolutely. We've got to go cool bullshit on the community, Curtis.
You know?
Of things that's been said and things that aren't being done and...
Oh, okay. I did actually want to this is actually not related to this topic, the other topic.
Okay.
I want to talk about what you spoke about to me the other day.
What was this?
About what the coach said.
Which coach?
Peter Dunn.
Okay.
In that interview.
Oh.
Touch on this. I just want to touch on it a little bit.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. So this was...
Talk us about this story.
So, yeah, I was watching an interview with... I think it was Travis Gafford's interview with that EG manager and the head coach, Peter Dunn. And, it's just... Because I love to get knowledge from other coaches, right? I want to see... Because this guy's, like, really hyped these days, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm super interested to see what he's talking about. And this thing that this is what I noticed from what he said. He said, the way he was talking about EG was if he was like saying like we like if like we like have this certain philosophy. It's like he was saying like we like he's like the cultural architect type thing and like he's the
he's been doing it for ages.
Yeah, he's been doing it. He's been with that organization for 20 years or 10 years, and just something about
talking all this work that he's done
just rubs me the wrong way because right now, okay, there is like, okay, you can talk like that way if you've been with an organization for 10 years, 20 years, and you've built like these amazing, you're like a legacy person, right? But at the end of the day, he's a coach that's bounced around between a bunch of teams. He's probably not going to be with EG. I'll say this right now. 2 years from now, he won't be with EG anymore, okay? Yep. And because that's just not the way coaches work right now in NA. Like name me, even in the West, name me one, two, all right, name me 5 coaches that have stayed with an organization for longer than 5 years.
I mean, there's only one in my mind.
Who's that?
This is
or
Grabs.
people that are close. So Grabs, he's not exactly 5 years, but he's close,
He's close, right? Grabs probably been with G2 what, like 3 years or something?
Yeah.
Who else? I mean, dude, there's no long term.
There's no long term.
There's no long term.
Sports, no.
Like, that's what I'm sick of. Is there's no long term.
Yeah, but stop lying to yourself. There's long term. That's the thing that pisses me off a lot. And
every interview is like, we're long term, we're development.
I mean, because we know this because we did this ourselves.
Yep.
That's the conversation we had with our players and coaches, and we were just in it, like saying, yeah, there. But like the way the economics are right now of esports, and the way that players are viewed and coaches are viewed, you're just gonna get just turned over, man. You know, so quickly.
Well, okay. The thing that because as you guys are probably going to find out, and this is what I want again this year to be a lot of, is like, I'm sick of esports.
Joe's just sick and tired of esports.
I am. I'm actually sick of esports. And we're going to riff on this a little bit. But I love the game. I love the competitive aspect of the game in terms of like SoloQ. But I dislike esports right now. There is so much bullshit that goes on. And one of the narratives that is always pushed is like, just like, we know what we're doing. And, I'm a veteran. I'm this coach. I know what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing. It's my philosophy with like instilling all these values, and it's my culture. I'm the cultural architect, and blah, 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 blah. Show me any team, apart from like maybe SKT with Coma and like Faker and like what they did in SKT. Any other org that has like stayed with a pretty consistent roster with basically the same coaching staff and like have like developed an actual system and processes and like develop something long term and actually know what they're doing. Like, dude, the coaches change every 1 or 2 years. There's been G2's the only one that has looked like they've got any semblance of just like a consistent coaching philosophy. Fnatic can't do it. Not even the second best. No, they change around they flip flop every year. Mithy's gone after a year, right? Like they go after a year. There's no long term. There's no processes. Stop talking as if you know what you're doing. The game hasn't even been around. First of all, the game hasn't been around long enough for you to know what is correct in terms of coaching techniques. You can have a theory, and that's fine. You can say that. That's what I want to be heard. I want you to say, look, I'm starting out at EG here. I have a good idea of my own coaching philosophy. I'm going to try and implement it here at EG. I've did a lot of thinking over the off season. Now it's time to test it. We'll see how it works and how it pans out over the course of the year. We're doing this for development. We're gonna have the best players. We're gonna have this best year. In 2 years, we're gonna win the LCS. It's just like bullshit. Like, no, and again, like maybe they have to put on that story and that narrative to the fans and like whatever that means. But it's like,
no, guys, that's not. We know that for a fact. That's not the narrative for the fans. That they generally believe this stuff.
Yeah, they genuinely
because this is the conversations and the back doors or the interview process. Because again, we were pilots and we were full of shit ourselves.
Yeah.
Like we've done it, and because that's how you convince someone to join you, because you want them for the short term gain.
No, I would say I genuinely believe that at the time that I knew what I was like. I knew had all these processes.
Yeah. Well, there you go. They're thinking the same way as you.
But the reason that exists.
Yeah.
Is because it hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
And if you think about this is one of the guys I was listening to recently, and I cannot recommend this interview enough. Anyone out there, if you have some spare time, please listen to it. There's an interview with Marco Pierre White. He has an Oxford interview. Yeah, an interview at Oxford. It's like a speech thing.
So he's like a famous chef.
He's a chef. Dude, this guy is so inspiring. I was so moved by this single interview that I was literally I was emotional, genuinely emotional listening to this interview.
Was it because you felt like you could relate to it a lot, or?
Well, I just love this guy and respect him so much because he just doesn't beat around the bush and he tells it as it is. And you can tell he's a hardened man who's put in his time. He's worked his ass off to put himself in a very good position. And he's respected. But he doesn't sugarcoat anything. And what I love about it is he tells the story as it really is in the restaurant industry, okay? Now, the difference, and one thing when he was telling his story, going through trying to get through the ranks and get known and get knowledge and the ugliness of this industry, he tells of, he had these great chefs that he worked under. They had these amazing restaurateurs, They knew how to run the restaurant, the front, the back. They innovated new techniques. This was the rise of gastronomy before it was really a thing. There was all these new inventions or new innovative techniques, and this was the rise of amazing food over in Europe at the time. This was in England and France, right? And then I compare this with, say, esports, right? And cooking is a very, very old craft. Technique's been refined over hundreds of years, right? It's a very long time.
Thousands, Curtis, yeah.
And I just compare it with esports, and you think of a coach, you think of someone going up and like trying to get into the industry and become a coach, or like think about the role models. Think about who you look to. You're like, oh, okay, well, Peter Dunn, he's a recognized, or LS, or any of these coaches. None of them have built, put in there. First of all, the industry's not old enough to have this.
That's right. It's
so
just
you can't just have that.
Yeah.
But it's like the people that are revered. They tell you that they've done it, but they haven't. And I wish there was this really open. I wish League wasn't as professional as it was in a way. You know what I mean? I wish we all accepted that no one knows what the fuck they're doing. No one knows what the best practice is. We're all just trying to figure it out, have it crack. We're all here. We're all dumb. The game's so new. No one knows what's best practice. Yeah. Let's just all stop saying we know everything. We've got the best coaching staff, the best supporting talent. We know exactly how to develop players and make the best players. I know how to scout talent perfectly. All this bullshit that you hear. Let's just all calm it down and say, no, we really don't know what we're doing. We're in a new industry, in a new time. Things are changing. But we're taking the steps to figure it out at a very fast pace. We're innovating. We're trying new techniques. That's what I respected about Cloud9, having 6 coaches, 7 coaches, and having this new technique. I respect it. Not because it's going to work, but because it's different.
Very different.
Try something different. Think outside the box. And that's the theme that I see in esports is, we know everything. We're geniuses.
Because that's how you get hired, man. That's how you got to be confident in the interview, Curtis. You can say, this is it. This is the way
I
things
would never.
run.
It's if I were to interview, right, I couldn't bring myself to say I know what I'm doing. Even though I probably have so much knowledge.
Not. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Think about that. Think about we coach full time, right? Now for me, I've coached literally pro for 3 years. And now full-time mid lane for just one role. We're talking just one role for a year. Right? All this background, being challenged for 7 seasons, whatever it is. And I still can't even confidently say I'm a good coach.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting there.
I have this vision of what I would myself as a great coach looks like.
Yeah.
I can't exactly explain what it's like, but I know that right now I'm probably 2% of the way there.
Yeah.
Or 3%.
But that's healthy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying bullshit. We're not saying we're the best coach in the world. I want to be. I'm a pretty solid one.
I don't even call myself a coach.
Yeah.
All my Twitter thing is I help people get better at jungling.
Yeah.
I guess I call my thing a coaching program. I guess that may be something, but I don't call myself a coach.
Right.
I just do things. I just play League of Legends, and I teach people what I learn.
Okay.
Share people with what I learn. That's all I do.
Yeah, dude. And so yeah, I mean, this is why esports, and it's so long until I want to go back into esports. Years. Yeah. Talking a decade or something,
Yeah, but part of it as well, Curtis, do you feel like you could...
I don't want to be a part of the building process.
You don't want to be part of the building process. You want someone else to build it, and then you'll just... What happens if it never gets built?
No, because the thing is I don't believe that with all the egos flying around, that even if I came in and had the power, I just no one's gonna listen, dude.
No. I mean, we talk about the
change.
professional players right now that exist. I don't want to work with.
I don't want to be in a scene where the pro players, the people that are getting rewarded, are like that.
Yeah,
I can't.
No,
I can't bring myself to do that.
Absolutely not.
I'm not ready. The scene needs longer to develop. And you know what? Yes, this is quite selfish. I don't want to be part of the building process. But you know what? At the end of the build, as I start to see it develop, I'm going to look at it and this might not even be something I want to do.
That's right.
I'll see what it looks like. It might be really exciting. Yeah. But there's a big part of me that thinks it's just not. A big part of me, part of me might say that I'm never going to go into esports. Part of me thinks I might. I don't know. But the way it is right now, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Absolutely not.
You know?
Yeah.
Scary shit, dude.
Yeah. It's like an electric fence. You won't even go near that thing.
No, nowhere near.
As a coach. For a player, it's fine, you know?
Yeah, for a player, it's not too bad at all. For
It's
a player,
great,
it
mate.
makes
You're
sense.
making millions of dollars, Curtis.
Yeah, for a player, it's actually really good.
Yeah.
But for a coach, it's a different story.
Yeah.
And we're talking at the pro level. I think amateur and even academy is actually much better.
Yeah.
I just say the pro level.
Yeah.
I think the academy and like this grassroots, because they don't have egos. It's like, well, like they do, but like not as much. And it's kind of like less bullshit. It's kind of like we're just improving because we know we're not the best in a way. It's kind of like we're just the underlings in a way. I think it's a very healthy mindset. Like I would love to work in like an academy or like an amateur team and like work from like ground up and like develop systems and that sort of thing. That would be cool. But it's just not financial. It's just hard to do to get in that position as well, to have the respect from people. So what does this dude from Oceania know, you know?
Goddamn random. Oh, sucks.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're going to get back into ranked. Get on the grind. Been working on my website still. Has been taking up a lot of my time. And that's the one thing I've noticed about myself. I'm terrible at focusing on multiple things at once.
Yeah, you're a one man, one job.
Now, actually, I want to raise just before we like wrap this up. There's one thing I do want to, because I think other people might have this problem.
Okay, let's share it. We always share problems here at the Broken by Concept podcast.
I found that I can't do. Like, it's very easy for me to fall in the trap where I'm doing multiple things at once. Okay, and let me expand on this. So, if I am, say I have a few tabs open, one of them might be an email.
I always see your Discord open all the time.
Yeah, Discord?
Dude. Yeah.
Because I go on chat, I go on the thing voice and share my games, right? So, like, I've got my screen sharing my games.
Yep.
I get added at sometimes, so I have to like respond to messages. Yeah. You know, and then there's my website stuff in the background. Maybe I'm replying to YouTube comments. Maybe I'm thinking about my next video, taking notes from my next video, whatever it is, all these things that I could be doing. When I play my best league, it never ceases to amaze me. It's when I'm just going in and I'm like, this is a scheduled part where I'm not doing anything with my website. I'm not replying to any emails. I'm not replying to any Discord questions. I'm only playing SoloQ. That is when I play my best league. Because people think I'm scheduling out a block and I'm only playing ranked. But they'll do like other things at the same time. It's very difficult. It's the mental thing. It's very difficult to stay focused once you do other things in the background in between games. Very difficult. It could even be you replying to a message on Facebook and then you think about that conversation and you feel like you know they've replied to you. Yeah. And then you're expected to reply because you've answered once. Yeah.
So you're thinking about in the games like, oh shit, I got to reply. It's like you guys, like, oh, I got to think about that. Versus what's the next objective? What's the next objective?
Even a split second of
You know, part of me as well also wants to go to single screen setup as well. That I feel like
just turn it off.
No, like literally remove
your second monitor.
Yeah. But I can't because like just the nature of my work. I mean, I guess I could.
What do you use it for right now?
It's just there. It's just like you're in queue here and you dragging something there.
Mine's really helpful when I do my website stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely helpful.
So helpful.
But part of me feels like if I just had like League on my computer and just one single screen, I'd play better.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. Well, you know, I turn mine off when I do my videos. Even just having it on a blank screen distracts me.
Yeah, blank screen. That's right. It's a distraction.
And on top of this as well, when I play my SoloQ, I can't have the Discord open. Even if I'm not looking at it, it's there. I actually can't. I have to have the Streamlabs over it.
Yeah.
It can't be something I can look to.
Got it.
I've noticed as well. There's little things, dude.
Yeah, little things.
Little things. Maximizing your focus. Yeah. They have big effects. And the other thing as well I was going to say I found is that there was a part where like I was losing confidence when I was playing Echo. And in the past, I would have viewed that experience as like I would have just fell into that trap. I could easily see myself past Curtis just being like like really dwelling on that experience and then letting it come to an identity level to me.
Wait, losing confidence just in general with the champion?
No, so I had those bad experiences with Echo, right?
Yeah.
I was it feels like I was at a mental crossroads. It was really weird. It was like an out of body experience in a way. It was like I'm looking at myself, and then I saw one part of myself falling into this hole of like self-confidence issues. But then I decided to pull myself back out. Like I started going down a few of those steps, but then I just rewound. I walked backwards, back up the steps, went back up, and started going down the other route of detaching those games as me as a person.
Yeah.
And be like, oh no.
And you were critically able to analyze, okay, why am I doing bad in these Echo games versus...
No, I was able to just let it go. And then, okay, Echo's not for me. I'm not having fun with that. I know exactly what was going wrong. This is the champ I'm going to play instead. And I'm all in it. And I'm not even really having success with these other champs yet. But I feel like, you know, these are the champ I want in my pool. And I'm just going down the steps. I didn't let those... I could have easily went off the deep end there. And I was literally going down those steps. And I rewound back up, went back and started going back down this other path. And the old Curtis wouldn't have done that. Curtis of last year, even, wouldn't have done that. I would have continued down that rabbit hole.
Till you've destroyed your identity and self-destructed.
So I didn't let myself do that.
Yeah. So what, are you proud of yourself for doing that? You think
what I'm saying
that shows that you've developed?
Well, that, but also...
self-development?
Well, the other thing as well is that how great League is as a game. That you get to experience that. Like, that's a part of the experience. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's actually really cool. It's giving you the opportunity to have that lesson.
It's given me,
that's cool.
It's literally given me this experience to reflect, catch myself, develop this introspection, and then like kind of recalibrate and then go down another path. Like, it's such a beautiful tool. It's such a beautiful experience. You know, it's very weird. It's very strange. You don't have. There's not many things in life where you get to have that experience, is there? Like this, like a craft where you can like. It's kind of just you versus yourself. It's just like a mental game. So I guess martial arts is probably very similar. I would say martial arts is probably very similar.
Absolutely, 100%, dude. Even potentially more so.
Like even like other games, maybe like tennis and you know, stuff like chess. And
you
like
have you have the physical element of that, which I think is very helpful.
Chess and poker would also be very similar in that sense. Very introspective.
Yeah.
I love that.
You always say because you're introspective when you're running.
Definitely.
Because you're just so hard.
Yeah, I love running. I miss it. I wish I could do it. It's just not good for me. We can't
because we only gains, only muscle gains.
Put on weight.
No cardio, anti-cardio here.
Yeah.
All right, Curtis, should we
wrap it up?
No, we're going to answer some questions,
Okay,
Curtis.
questions.
Do some questions. So let me just quickly change the battery.
Wait, change the battery again?
No, I'm just going to...
Pretend you're changing the battery.
Because this is part of the process.
Right.
Like I'd self-destruct right now if we went straight into questions. And I got to get my phone and everything, you know, all that sort of little details. And I'll be back in a jiffy. All right, welcome back to Nathan's mailbag. It's really just the BBC show. I just read the questions. I just like to call it that because it's like it's always been a dream of mine to be like...
I want to read some one day.
You want to read some?
Yeah.
Do you want to read some today?
Yeah. Can't read that one?
Okay, you can read this one.
You just got to tell me which ones to read.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
Yeah, hopefully Curtis is going to be a bit rusty at this.
So this one's from Paolo Orlandi.
Here we go. He's got a good start.
Gee, you got me nervous. You're moment nervous.
It's a big responsibility, Curtis.
This is titled My League Experience So Far. Hi, Curtis and Nathan. I'm Paolo from EU West. Love the idea of the show and your point of view about the game. I'm 29 and started playing League at the beginning of Season 10 because of friends. I consider myself a gamer and have played a lot of StarCraft and many other games. I just got obsessed by League. But that's me. I get obsessed by things until I get bored. I think the League ranking system and the game in general follows the rules of the flow theory. Mihaly... I'm not even going to... I don't know how to pronounce that at all. Do you want to have a crack at it? Mihaly...
Oh, jeez. Mihaly... Csikszentmihalyi. Anyways, I don't know.
Okay, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, and that's why you hardly get bored. I only played normals with friends, 2 or 3 games per day, and after watching your content, I decided to play ranked, qualified poorly, high bronze, silver 4. My experience was pretty bad. The quality of the games is very low. I personally think the game experience is incredibly better if played in a team of 5. Anyway, I'm too competitive and hate losing so much, so here are my questions. In this ELO, I feel like nobody knows their role, what they are supposed to do in a world of chaos. How do I survive? Do you just play until you finally get to a better elo? I play mid, main, Diana, Echo. 75% of my games, I have nice leads that go to nothing. Thanks a lot and keep up the good work. I think we should touch on the flow thing, right?
Okay.
Do you know much about the flow zone?
I mean, Will ask me this every day, dude. No, I don't.
Flow state? I'm assuming, I mean, I know a little bit about it.
Yeah.
But I would agree. It's essentially like, I'm pretty sure just like when there's like the perfect balance of challenge versus, it's like you hit that zone where your brain is occupied to an extent where it's hard, but not so hard that you give up.
Give up, yeah, got it.
So it's like the perfect challenge.
Yeah.
Every game. So you just keep going and you enter this zone where you're just in the moment. Like you just flow state where like you're not really thinking about anything else. You're just fully enamored by the game in a way. But yeah, I would agree that League is great at developing that flow state. Because there's so much things going on. There's no downtime as well. Thing with League, that's a great thing about it. But anyway, look, you've only been playing since the beginning of season 10. Doesn't matter if you played any game. I mean, we say this every time. Doesn't matter if you're a pro in StarCraft, you're a pro in Counter-Strike, World of Warcraft, whatever. And the fact that you say it, like, I consider myself a gamer. I've played a lot of StarCraft and things like that.
I think it's actually a bad thing because you instantly have expectations.
Yeah.
For it. The perfect example, I have of this coaching client, this Overwatch player, who's like a top Overwatch player. And he's like, his expectations of his level of playing League and how quickly he can get Challenger is so unrealistic that it actually affects him.
Yep. I had one with a HOTS player.
Yeah.
Same thing. So don't even think about that. It doesn't matter how good you were at StarCraft or how many games you've played in the past. League is a very different game and it's very difficult. And yes, you may have a slight advantage, but even if you think like that, it's not going to help you. Look, the thing is, first of all, you've only been playing for a season, right? So you've barely played. You're a baby. You're literally a baby.
Literally.
So and you're spot on. In your ELO, which is bronze and silver 4, you're right. Nobody does know their role in a game. They barely know their champion. They have 0 champion mastery. They probably don't even know what every champion in the game does. They don't know their damage output. They don't know how much damage they can take. A lot of them probably don't even know how to control their character very well. So the way you should frame your entire ranked experience is that of a child putting your hands on something and just grasping anything you can get at. Learn. Soak it up. Have 0 expectations about winning a league. You win at that game, at that level of play, you win when you learn more and have more control over your character. When you know what the champions do, you have more champion mastery, and you just know what things happen, how things work in the game. There's no secret to improving it. It's not about climbing in bronze and silver.
It's only about improving. I agree.
Because
you have to learn the game. You have to know what all the other champions do in the game. You don't need to know what your champion does, what your limits are. It's basically just knowledge.
That's why as well. That's why you probably get a lead and it does nothing because you don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't know the limits of every champ. You don't know what they do and how they work and how they interact.
Well, what will happen is even if he gets a lead, he'll throw the lead 100%.
Yeah,
he will die.
he'll die.
You will die because you're not thinking about bigger picture about how to close out the game.
So that's fine. Enjoy it. I think you should calm down. Yes, I get you're competitive, but the only way you're going to improve is you relax, you take your game seriously, have a very small champion pool. I love it. Echo and Diana only. Brilliant. And stick with it, dude. It's just a matter of time. You're at the very beginning of your league. And for me, I've never known a player that if you've only played for 1 year, that's stock standard, getting to silver, bronze in your first season. Next season, it's possible to get to like high gold. But it'll take you the whole year.
You got to put in the games in silver, dude.
You just got to put in raw games at this point in time. Just raw games. Don't overcomplicate anything.
And seek knowledge.
That's right.
You say that you think that the game's better experience with a team of 5. Yeah, I mean, because you're not going to get flamed, right? But you got to play SoloQ because that's going to help you have even better experience in 5v5 setting. It's going to help you become a better player quicker. I mean, you have to learn the skill of embracing chaos because even in a 5v5 setting, there's going to be chaos you need to adapt with. And SoloQ is the best tool for you to embrace the chaotic nature.
It's the best learning tool.
Anything else we want to comment on that one, Curtis? I'm going to confiscate the phone from you now, Curtis.
Okay.
I'm taking over. All right, so this is from Joseph. Says, hey Nathan, Curtis, before I ask my question, I just wanted to give you guys a shout out. I used to be so positive and encouraging and untiltable in my games, but ever since I started playing League a lot more seriously when quarantine happened, I noticed that I became a lot more toxic and began to blame my teammates. But watching your podcast helped me return to a positive mindset. Thanks for that. So that's actually just, we talk about the experience of League. Someone who his identity is he's positive and encouraging and untiltable in other games he's played. League has brought out the toxic nature of him, It's crazy.
It's pretty insane. I mean, and before we go on here, this is something that needs to be actively spoken about in League.
Yeah.
Like the fact that when you play the game, it's just like warning. It should come with like a warning sign. Like when you go on like a roller coaster, it's like warning. This is like extreme speeds and shit like that. You should actually. Wait, was that not recording?
No, I was recording.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just checking.
You should actually Riot should say you are going to be frustrated. The game is really hard. Like all this stuff prepare you. There is nothing about that, is there? There's no warning.
No.
It's like you go into the deep end.
Yeah. There's no
play
warning,
around.
There's no tutorial like the way it's going to be and stuff like that.
No one just tells you how hard the game is.
Yeah.
League's the hardest game in the world. That's what it should be said. Like the hardest game in the world.
If anything, it was the opposite. Everyone shows you how easy it is to climb and smurf and all that sort of stuff on the YouTube content, right?
All the way around.
How to carry 1v9 in your in bronze.
You know what's super interesting?
Yeah.
Let's actually just riff on this a bit.
What?
That last question.
Yeah.
How interesting is that?
What?
Think about it. You would never get that question in any other industry.
What?
Like Paolo's question.
Yeah.
It's like, I've been playing for a year.
Yeah.
I'm in this rank. Like, how do I win? What do I do?
That's true, isn't it?
Like, think about how simple that question is.
Yeah.
Like the fact that that has to be written. He's 29-year-old dude. He's not like he's not a kid. It shows he's obviously asking that question because the reason he's asking that question is because he's seen elsewhere how easy it is to climb and all these people that are high elo and they smurf and stuff. And
it's just so easy, man.
The fact that that question is a sign that there is something not going wrong.
Yeah.
Something going wrong here.
Yeah. It's true, Curtis.
You got to look at actions.
You got to look at actions.
Always
the questions
look at
people
actions.
ask. Yeah. I love looking at actions.
Anyway, go on.
So now for the question. This is for jungle specifically. Yes. My time to shine on this podcast.
Nathan. Come on.
So
Don't
more for
fuck it up.
Nathan, I guess. But I noticed that when I'm playing more farming junglers like Graves, Hecarim, or Kane, when I or my team falls behind, I feel so lost. I find that I sometimes can't farm my own jungle since I get counter jungled by the enemy or I die because I get picked and I don't want to take side lane farm or share farming lane since that's BM to my laners. What do I do in these situations? Any tips for playing farming junglers from behind? Alright, so this is the concept with farming junglers. Deaths are even more important as a farming jungler than a early game jungler. Reason being is that because you probably aren't putting out pressure ganks, the longer the game goes, the more impactful deaths are because death timers are longer and you can get more out of a death than early game. So, because this is my playstyle, this is what I played back in Season 3. And this is why I understood how important deaths were, was because I wasn't pressuring games, I wasn't ganking lanes. My laners would fall behind. All I needed to do was, this is easier said than done, make sure that I'm just being super hyper efficient with my camps and taking high percentage plays. You have to do that because if you also get behind, your team, think about it, your team's already behind because you let them get behind because you didn't pressure and let's say if you're versing like a Talia or a Lee. So that's just the nature of, I'd say there's more pressure but less pressure on you as a farming jungler in a weird way. So I find that I sometimes can't farm my own jungle since I get counter jungled by the enemy team or I die. Okay, so the longer you can hold up towers, the more you're going to be able to farm and more scale. As soon as you lose mid-tier 1 tower as a farming jungler, the game is very much out of your control. Try and hold up mid-tier 1 tower as long as possible. If you can deny Rift Herald as a farming jungler, is so powerful because it slows down the game. Rift Herald is the quickest way to accelerate a game. The other way you can accelerate game is through Dragon Souls. I guess if you can potentially, if the enemy team gets a dragon at 5 minutes, that could be bad for you. But all you need to do is deny 1 dragon, and you've added an extra 5 minutes to the game. So I get counter jungled by the enemy or I die because I get picked and I don't want to take side lane farm or share farm. Okay, if you're a farming jungler, you need to start getting into the mindset of taking side lane farm. Not so much for the farm, but for the pressure. So when you push a lane, it slows down the game. Again, your objective as a farming jungler is how do I slow down the game? How do I slow down the game? Even if your team is, 0 and 10, I mean, maybe that's a bad example. Let's say they're like losing, your objective is always to slow down the game. And if you push a side lane, it has two benefits. You're forcing the enemy team to react to a play, so then they're reacting, they're defensive. And the other thing as well is you're getting the experience and gold. Must take side lane farm. It's so important. It's the difference between, if you see sometimes in YouTube videos where someone has, like all the games that I can think of, like let's say if I'm playing Eve when I was like playing lower elo and stuff like that, I could only get 10 CS a minute as a farming jungler if I was to take lane minions. It's not possible to do it just from your jungle camps. What else? Oh, and you said it's BM to your laners? No, you're the carry. You're the 1v9 carry champ. You're talking about champs like Graves, Hecarim, and Kayn. Graves is weird. I don't actually view him so much as a farming champ. He's more of a pressure enemy jungler. You farm by taking the enemy jungle's camps. Kayn and Hecarim is more like, you're just going to be more of a farming jungler, and same with like Eve in a way. Those are all my tips. Anything else, Curtis?
No, I was just trying to think of an analogy, the way I interpret it anyway.
Yeah.
Was like, think of it like a boxing match, and you have like a, let's just, I don't know much about boxing. I don't know much about boxers, but Floyd Mayweather has this style where he's like, just chip away at you, and he's like endurance. Yeah. He wants to slow win over like all the rounds.
Versus a boxer puts all his energy out in the first couple of rounds, and then he tires out. Yeah.
So your job, and when you play something you got to understand is that it's harder in a way.
It's harder and easier.
Well, okay, let's view it like this.
Because the thing about farming junglers, if you have at least 1 or 2 winning lanes, you insta win the game.
Yeah, that is true, but it's like it's harder in the sense that like you just have less options. Like you
do. You have a lot less options.
You can only do basically your one thing.
Yeah.
And whereas like the enemy, if they're playing a champion that has more proactivity, they have more options available. So they can actually... So think about you've got someone like, Floyd Mayweather. He has no room for error. Like, he's just seen this guy who's like going to swing at you 24/7. All that guy has to do is land one of them.
Yeah.
And like he wins that fight.
Yeah.
Whereas you, even if you land a punch on him, it's not going to do much. Just a little bit of damage. You have to keep like dragging that fight out as long as possible. And one mistake, one slip up, you're done. It's kind of like that. So yes, it's easier in the sense that you don't need to force stuff. But like at the same time... you're the carry, it's like, and you can't afford to make a single mistake.
And that's the skill that I learned when I was in season 3. That's how I got 3 accounts top 10. It's like I mastered that skill of minimizing. My entire objective was minimizing. How would I use that ward in that specific position, like tracking the enemy jungler?
I fundamentally disagree though with that's the way to play jungle.
No, I agree.
I actually think it's just dangerous.
Yeah, it is dangerous. I think
like
so
the
as
way
well.
you view the game if you play like that is just so flawed.
Yeah,
this is not how jungle is as a role. I just fundamentally disagree.
I also agree with that as well, Curtis. But it's excellent for carrying in low elo.
Yeah, but do you learn anything? Like, do the skills translate?
That's a good question. I would say, it literally says our card's full on the thing.
Oh, God. All right.
I guess we'll finish up this question and then we'll wrap it up then.
All right. We'll do this one more question.
No, we'll just wrap up this one. Yeah, this one.
All right.
What were you saying, sorry? Oh, yeah, so you think it's just bad?
Well, I'm just asking. I don't play jungle, so I don't know. I don't want to step in here because I actually don't know, but... I'm just asking, like, because the way I view the game from a jungler's perspective is like jungle is a facilitating role. Like, you're not the carry.
Yeah.
I mean, you can at times, but it's not you don't, like, if I think about the junglers that genuinely carry, in my games anyway, they don't play like that.
Those challenger games, Curtis, Yeah,
they don't play like that.
Because remember, not everyone's going to eventually get challenger, Like,
but what happens?
I mean, there is the thing. I mean, that's my story of my life. I had such bad habits, such bad mindset to get out of the way that you win games in League of Legends that like I'm screwed for forever. I'm working through it.
That's what I'm scared of. Like people like developing like this way of. It's like the way you view the game.
Yeah.
Because think about the message that you're sending when you're playing a carry jungler.
Yeah.
It's I'm the carry. I'm the one who has to reach. They should survive. Laney should survive.
Yeah.
Like, what I would love is any jungler to lay like a solo lane, like top or mid, and like just feel the difference between like a farm jungler versus a gank oriented jungler.
I mean, you can make farm junglers work. I mean, at the end of the day, there's people like Karasma, who's Challenger NA Kane player, right? He doesn't play that.
But I don't know how he plays it. How does he actually play it though?
I mean, he still ganks, dude, and he doesn't. You have to do things early games still.
Yeah.
There is opportunities
Yeah.
if you have the right idea and right mindset. Malice is an Eve player. He's a Challenger in the US. Like, it's possible. But yes, if you look at Korean SoloQ, the top 10 players, they're all playing
Eve
super
feels like an
aggressive.
exception though, in a way, because Eve has this weird thing where like, even if you're not like actively doing something, you're pressuring.
Yeah, that's right, because you have the pressure of Eve.
So it's like, I don't feel Eve is like a good example of like the standard traditional full clear carry jungler.
I think she is. Curtis, if she gets behind...
Yeah, but you're exerting pressure when other junglers wouldn't.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
that's true.
Because again, if you think about what the strength of ganking junglers is, it's not the gank.
Yeah.
It's the threat of the gank. And Eve does that. At level 6, pretty early on. You get level 6 pretty early in the game, by like 6 minutes. So, I don't know. That's how it feels when I first... I don't view Eve as like, yes, she clears in the early game, but as soon as she's 6, think about that versus like Kayn versus like Shyvana and shit like that.
That's true, yeah.
Like, they don't have threat even at 6, really.
Yeah.
And then Eve instantly does. Instantly turns into like a
machine.
Max threat.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, well, that's my advice, and that's Curtis's perspective there. But, I mean, I still think that playing farming junglers is fine in lower elo, because you learn how to carry.
Okay.
I think it's important to know when to carry. You can still carry.
I hate that, dude.
You think you hate it?
I never tell anyone to learn how to carry.
Yeah.
I've never told that to
Just do
any
your
of my
job.
clients.
Yeah.
I think the word carry should just be removed in a way. It's like, okay, it should be used, but in such niche situations.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think carrying is how you win solo queue. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a toxic mindset. I mean, we talked about that before. The one.
Like, when does anyone genuinely carry unless they're a Smurf?
Yeah, you're a Smurf. It's true. That's actually true. Yeah, it is true.
You don't carry.
Yeah.
You just do your job.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up our podcast there. That's a good note to end on. I think I need to buy a new card for the camera, Curtis, because these podcasts are running longer. Right. It's fine. We can order one. All right. Well, that's going to be it for this episode, everyone. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in next week for another episode. See you in a jiffy for the Broken by Concept podcast.